A group of clever YouTubers try to see whether or not individuals really know what religion doctrine includes. Now, these two guys have a very famous YouTube channel known as Dit is Normal, and it is a group of Dutch dudes who do these really fun experiments. In this latest experiment, they took the Quran, actually they took the Bible, disguised it as the Quran, and then they read it to people. Here's their reaction.
Als u mijn verordeningen verwerpt en als uw ziel van mijn bepalingen walgt, u zult dan het vlees van uw eigen zonen eten en het vlees van uw eigen dochters zult u eten. Want ik sta niet toe dat een vrouw onderwijs geeft. Dan moet u haar hand afhakken. Laat uw oog haar niet ontzien. Wanneer een man met een andere man slaapt, zij moeten zeker tot de dood gebracht worden.
Wat is jullie eerste reactie? Klinkt echt belachelijk.
Nou, ik wist eigenlijk helemaal niet dat dit ook erin stond.
Hoe kan je hierin geloven? Ongelooflijk vind ik dat eigenlijk.
Handen afhakken en zo, ja, zo zijn zij blijkbaar, maar ik...
That's the way they are. So it's a great video. You should watch the whole thing.
The whole thing, yes. We'll include a description or a link to the description box.
So every one of them, now look, it's not necessarily everyone they talked to, but everyone that was in the video is like, oh man, oof. And they're more understanding Europeans. It's not like they're a Fox News crew here in the US or anything like that. But like, oh, I didn't know that was in there. That's really terrible. Oh, eating the flesh of your sons and daughters, cutting off their hands. See, this is the problem with them.
Yeah, exactly. The initial reaction was par for the course, right? What can you expect from these Muslims in the Quran? Their religious doctrine is so evil and so terrible. And then they're like, actually, this is the Bible. Okay, we disguise it as the Quran. We're reading you verses from the Holy Bible. And interestingly enough, you know, people responded with some humility, which I feel like you wouldn't get in the United States.
No, you wouldn't.
So let me give you a quick quote from one participant in this whole experiment. One person says, "It's all just prejudice, really. I always try not to be prejudiced myself, but apparently I already am." That self-awareness is very admirable.
Yeah, almost all the reaction on the tape was of people going like, oh man, you got me. Oof, man, I didn't know that was in the Bible. That's really interesting. I feel like in the U.S. you'd get a totally different reaction. Like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. Shut up. Right? Well, look.
Safe space. We need a safe space, everyone. I'm offended.
Right. So read the Bible, man. That's what I always tell you. Now, it's not like it's not in the Quran. The Quran also talks about cutting hands off, but so does the Bible.
Right.
And it's not like the Bible's never been used to do those things. It has been used as an excuse to do those things, and so has the Quran. So no one is innocent here in terms of the religious texts. All the religious texts are, unfortunately, yes, there are some good parts, no question about it. Sermon on the Mount in the Quran, feed the poor, feed the poor. It says it over and over again, right? Take 10% of all your money and give it to the poor. That's in the Quran. Jesus, help the poor, help the needy, right? And then kill them all, cut their flesh off, eat it, kill their cows, kill their babies, do anything you want. Quran, Bible. Read them. Don't trust us for it. Pick up the book, turn to any random page. I would be really surprised if you weren't horrified by what was in either one of those books.
Mr. Jones owned a cotton plantation and many slaves. One day he was talking to the owner of the plantation next to his, and Mr. Jones was lamenting the fact that times were tough. He was having to work his slaves harder than ever, and was having trouble with some of them being disobedient or trying to run away. The other plantation owner said he knew someone who could help.
Day 1.
One day Mr. Jones called his slaves together so a man named Mr. Smith could talk to them. Before beginning, Mr. Smith whispered to Mr. Jones, "Whatever I say, do not contradict me or interfere, and I promise you your slave troubles will end." "My name is Mr. Smith," he said to the slaves, "and this may be the happiest day of your lives. From today forward, you will no longer be slaves, but free men." Mr. Jones was so shocked he started to step forward, but Mr. Smith gestured for him to remain silent. He did, only because the other plantation owner had spoken so highly of Mr. Smith's skills. "You are no longer the property of Mr. Jones," Mr. Smith continued. "You are free. No more would you be forced to labor for the benefit of Mr. Jones. Now you can work for yourselves." Now the slaves were all murmuring and looking at each other. Many were smiling, many were looking puzzled. In fact, you are now free to leave the plantation whenever you want, Mr. Smith said. However, since we are surrounded by other plantations, if you leave, some other plantation owner will likely claim you as his own the moment you set foot on his property. So I urge you not to risk your newfound freedom by doing something so foolish. Instead, I suggest that you stay here, no longer as slaves, but as willing participants and part owners of this plantation. Yes, this is now your plantation. Mr. Jones bit his tongue to keep from objecting. For now, we might as well leave Mr. Jones in charge, said Mr. Smith, since he is the only one with any experience at running a plantation, which is quite a complicated thing to manage. But he will no longer be your master, but just another worker on the plantation. In fact, he will now be using his organizational and management skills to serve you. Whatever problems you may have had with him before, you are now all equals, and you need each other to make this work. If we all cooperate and work together, we can all reap the benefits together. In honor of this happy occasion, I present you this new symbol of togetherness and cooperation, this flag, which shall be the emblem of the new, free Jones plantation. He held up the new flag, but most of those listening were still too amazed to respond. And this shall be our motto, Mr. Smith announced. We work together as free men for our mutual benefit, pledging our allegiance to the Jones plantation, which stands for prosperity, liberty, and justice for all. To celebrate, everyone has the rest of the day off. Enjoy your freedom, do as you please, and be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, so that we may begin work on this great and noble new endeavor as equal free men. Finally convinced that Mr. Smith was serious, the former slaves applauded and cheered.
Day 2.
We all want this plantation to do well, Mr. Smith said at the beginning of the next meeting, so we can all share in the benefits. We all know that it takes a lot of effort to make a cotton plantation work. Just because you're all free doesn't mean you can stop working. In fact, since you're now working for yourselves, I expect you to work even harder than ever before, but now with pride and joy, knowing that you're working for yourselves. Of course, there still have to be rules. If everyone just does whatever he wants, the plantation won't produce anything. This experiment will fail, and we'll all starve. You should be thankful that Mr. Jones has agreed to stay on to lend his knowledge and skills to this endeavor, and I trust you will all do your own part to make this work. Several of you have been chosen to act as project supervisors to manage different aspects of the operation, to make sure everyone is doing his assigned job, to make sure that the rules are followed, and so on. The rest of you may head out to the fields to start your first day of work as free men.
Day 3.
The next morning, Mr. Smith had a grim expression on his face as the daily meeting began. I have an unpleasant duty to do today, he said. Yesterday, Charles was caught keeping some of the cotton he picked, presumably to sell for his own personal profit. That is against the rules. That is stealing. For that, Charles must be punished. 2 men tied Charles to the whipping post. I take no joy in this, Mr. Smith continued, but you must understand, if we do not maintain order, if we do not have rules that we all abide by, then the plantation will fail, and we will all suffer. The whip cracked against Charles' back. But if we all pitch in for the common good, then we can all prosper. Being free doesn't mean you should be selfish and greedy. We must each do our assigned duties and obey the rules, and then we can all benefit, and each of you will receive your appropriate share of the profits. A young man named Samuel stepped forward. But if you and Mr. Jones decide the rules and whip us if we disobey, how is that any different from what we had before? How can you say that? Mr. Smith asked. I'm shocked. You were a slave before, and now you're free. Things still need to be managed and organized by those best qualified to do so. Do you know how to run a plantation, Samuel? Well, no, he answered. But if we're free, why do we get no say in what the rules are and how things work? I'm surprised at your ingratitude, Mr. Smith answered. None of you know how a plantation is run, so you're in no position to be making decisions about how things are done here. You don't seem to appreciate all the things that Mr. Jones provides for you, from protecting you from all the outside threats that you know nothing about, those who would come here, capture and enslave you, if not for Mr. Jones' protection, to making sure that you all have food and housing, tools to work with, that you're cared for when sick and injured, and so on. There wouldn't be a plantation at all, no cotton to pick, no land to plant and harvest, if not for him. You should be grateful that he's made possible the level of comfort you now have. Your lives would be far worse if not for him. Nevertheless, as free and equal participants in this endeavor, from now on at each meeting, any worker may have 2 minutes to ask questions or voice suggestions or complaints. With that, the workers all seemed satisfied and headed out again to the fields to pick the cotton.
Day 4.
I have a big announcement, Mr. Smith said as the daily meeting began. Mr. Jones' cousin is here, and not just to visit and see how our project is coming along. It has been decided that from now on, you will be deciding who will manage the plantation. Of course, this job can't be done by just anyone, but every 3 months we will have a special meeting at which all the workers will vote on whether we think Mr. Jones should run the plantation or whether we think his cousin, Mr. Johnson, should run the plantation. That means that ultimately you are in charge because you will be deciding which man you want running things on your behalf. If you don't like the way things are being managed, you now have the power to change it. Amazed and pleased, the workers headed out again to the fields to pick the cotton. Days passed, months passed, a year passed, and the plantation continued to operate as before. Sometimes Mr. Jones was in charge, sometimes Mr. Johnson was in charge, but the day-to-day routine stayed exactly the same. The workers worked hard, long hours every day, and still had little to show for it. Every day the meeting would begin with them all reciting the Jones Plantation motto, "We work together as free men for our mutual benefit, pledging our allegiance to the Jones Plantation, which stands for prosperity, liberty, and justice for all." One day Mr. Smith announced, "Samuel is asked to say a few words this morning, and whatever the rest of us may think of his ideas and opinions, we are all free here, and that means we are all allowed to speak our minds. So, Samuel, you have 2 minutes. Begin." Samuel stepped forward, looking scared. "I was excited when all this started," he began, glancing nervously at Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones. "But don't you all see what's happened here? Nothing's changed. We're all still slaves." There were grumbles of disagreement from the crowd. "They tell us what to do and whip us if we don't. They still make all the rules and punish us if we disobey. They let us make suggestions and complain about things, but they never really change anything. They let us choose between Mr. Jones and Mr. Johnson, but what's the difference? The situation stays the same. We do all of the work and they take as much as they want and decide how much they'll let us keep. They live in luxury, made rich by the cotton we pick. We do all the work and have to build our own huts, grow our own food, and take care of ourselves. They leave us just enough that we don't revolt or run away. This is not freedom. We're all still slaves. They've only changed the words they use, but nothing else has changed. They say we're all free and equal, but we're not. They command and we obey. That's not freedom. That's not equality. They say we're free to leave, but all that means is that we're free to be someone else's slave. Why should we work or obey the rules? We didn't agree to this. They made the system. They forced it on us. They control and rob us and call it freedom. They've deceived you into thinking that being able to choose which slave master you'll work for is the same as being free. It's not. Open your eyes. If you keep what you produce, they call it stealing. When they take what you produce, they call it sharing and fair distribution. Can't you see that this is all? Your time is up, Samuel, Mr. Smith announced calmly. At his gesture, 2 supervisors grabbed Samuel by the arms and led him to the whipping post. "I'm sorry, Samuel, but you've broken the rules. There are rules against encouraging others not to work and encouraging others to break the rules. You're only hurting all of us with your discontentment and your complaining and your disobedience." The whip fell and Samuel let out a grunt. "Without rules, without order, all would be lost. Without law, there would be chaos. We can't just behave as wild animals, each doing whatever he pleases. We must all follow the plan and all do our duty for the betterment of everyone. And those who do not must be punished." The whip fell again and blood flowed freely from Samuel's back. "Samuel, it is you who are stealing from the others. When you don't do your assigned work, you are making more work for others. When you disobey the rules, it is you who are endangering the future of everyone else here. You are the thief. You are the criminal. You are the one trying to destroy the arrangement that keeps us all safe and prosperous." At every lash of the whip, the other workers cheered louder and louder, some yelling curses at Samuel. "Being spoiled and selfish, you complain about everything, talking as if you're oppressed. But you are the one ruining things. You are the one keeping us from being all we could be. It is your greed and your rebelliousness that is hurting all of us. They all play by the rules," Mr. Smith said, gesturing at the others. "What makes you think that you don't have to? You think you're above the law?" There were loud yells of agreement as the whip fell again. "We must maintain order," Mr. Smith proclaimed, "to make this plantation great, to make it so that we can all be happy and prosperous. To have the society we want, there have to be rules. We all have to contribute our fair share to this great endeavor, and we cannot tolerate actions and attitudes that seek to undermine the amazing things that together as free men we have achieved and will continue to achieve. Mr. Jones was smiling as he gave Mr. Smith a pat on the back. The crowd was cheering so loudly that none of them had noticed that Samuel had died.
Rastafari. Highly high. Selassie high. High, high, high. Eh, 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 eh. Eh, eh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm not here to bargain my soul. Rasta done in full control. Now I can't be converted. I'm already on my road. You know, hey, River Nile road. Everything is fine. I'm already on my journey. I a Rasta all the days of my life. From the morning sunrise through the darkness of the night, I praise Jah all the days of my life. I won't waste no more time. I'm already on my journey. I a Rasta all the days of my life. From the morning sunrise to the darkness of the night, I praise Jah all the days of my life. On this rock I stand, from the depths of the seas of the Caribbean. We were taken away as slaves for so long. We have been through great tribulation. We fight for our liberation and chant. We chant for our redemption. Gathering from the east, Rasta gathering from the west. Say unto the north, give up, and the south keep not back. Say thy sons from far, and thy daughters from the end of the earth. Everyone that is called by Rastafari name, everything is fine. I'm already on my journey. I a Rasta all the days of my life. From the morning sunrise through the darkness of the night, I praise Jah all the days of my life. I won't waste no more time. I'm already on my journey. I a Rasta all the days of my life.
It's now 3 minutes after 2 o'clock. Welcome to the Steppn Razor. No, as you heard, Ellie says not Muta, it's Amber. For Mutabaruka until 5:45. Get ready for your usual good Thursday afternoon. Lots of food for the brain. And of course some music. We start things off with Jabooks.
And the black boy beat church and state get punk. And the black boy beat from your block. You know I'm not right in the street. Me always see you in a black gown. Me always always hear you come a black sound. You never black my mouse when it a drop down. Now you want bungo right, big yard you town. Babylon you slave, some are ready but you can't slave no more of me people them. Look how much black youth you hang. Look how much ghetto girl you send go condemn. Babylon you jump, some are ready but you can't drown no more of me people them. I and you could not be friends. The fire burn off your finger them. Night and day you raid the black city. And to the baby you don't show no pity. Kill and kill till this thing gets sticky. And start you a ball one quitty. Just to the ghetto youth self-reliant. Burn up in herbs and a push a little trans. Tell squaddy about your scene with a 6 pants. Squaddy make a raid a place so fragrant. Babylon you slave, some are ready but you can't slave no more of me people them. Look how much black youth you hang. Look how much girl you send go condemn. Babylon you jump, some are ready but you can't jump no more of me people them. I and you could not be friends. The fire burn up your finger them. The youth them loot, to no shoot them a happy. Free bongo right, make him go heal up Kanaki. Up a mama Africa we nah move sloppy. Rape on no shoot, on no think we figati. Long time me there some me want fi go home. Fracture the scissors malfunction become. Can't lie a bingy and burn down Rome.
Let's send a big up right now to all Jamaicans repatriated to Africa and listening at irefm.net. Wonder if Africa Muta, they need to know Muta gone. Because me remember talking, say him want go Africa for 8 weeks. So I expect me now for them 8 weeks there. Every Thursday for there. So me don't know if that him start and not tell me just screechy we want one Thursday, you know. But big up to Mutabaruka, you don't know. Yeah man of a journey, and we love when Muta go out there, you know, bring the vibes more and more out in the world. And you know, educate people in a film own way, cause they trust me, as him tell to twin of twins, 2 of them can't make one of him. So we happy to be here to represent for Mutabaruka. Alright, so you don't know, even when we're not doing this program, we look around the world, we watch the news and we try to watch some alternative news too, because you see like the mainstream news now, them now go carry certain things, them now go want you to know certain things and me to know certain things and Muta to know certain things, cause you know when them put it out and you know we take it up, we are reached to, oh no, the people them, the real people them. So we see a story come out and it's, I don't see it anywhere in mainstream media. I was scouting the internet last night. I don't know if Tracy do look better than me. I don't see it now in a mainstream media. So we're going to make it mainstream now. The headline reads, Mansanto be put on trial for crimes against nature and humanity. Mansanto to be put on trial for crimes against nature and humanity. Now, some of you might be wondering, what is Mansanto? Well, to put it in a simple way, it's a multinational corporation that deals a lot with genetical engineering, farming, and a whole heap more. But the engineering and the farming are the things I kind of choose to narrow it down to because of what we're going to talk about. So they are the ones famous for bringing us the GM seeds. Started off with soy, corn, and you know, some of the basic ones. And right now, it's basically out of control. We don't know what is GMO from what is not GMO. And anything that is genetically engineered is taken away from nature. So one of the things that they had said in the beginning was that, just to give you a little background about Mansanto, one of the things they had said to sell us this idea of genetically engineering our food is that world hunger is taking over. You know, them say millions of people all over the world, more poor people on the planet than people can afford to feed themselves. There are people living like on less than $1 a day, things like that. So them sell it to win on this nice package like them are going to feed some people, right? But they never really give with the full background about this thing, because even them themselves, I don't think them did even know. You know, the things that are coming out now and the patterns, the trends that are being created. When scientists research and watch how children who eat these foods develop, as opposed to how children who eat organic or normal food develop, and a whole lot of other things, including cancer and other things that are affecting people, obesity and so on and so forth. So, you can see the picture, right? Monsanto wasn't necessarily telling us all that we needed to know. They needed to do more research. They didn't do it. They bring this thing, FDA approve it, and it spiral off in a whole heap of other ways, which we'll talk about later. But let's look at the article a little bit. It says, the Organic Consumers Association, IFOAM, International Organics, Nevada Regeneration International, that's RI, and millions against Monsanto, joined by dozens of global food, farming, and environmental justice groups, announced last week that they will put Monsanto, a US-based transnational corporation, on trial for crimes against nature and humanity and ecocide. Now, of course, when you say ecocide, it explains itself. Them basically killing the ecosystem with this thing. They've caused a lot of damage already to soil, plants, and a whole heap more. Lots of spin-off from this thing here. Anyway, they're in Hague. They're going to be bringing this case to The Hague in the Netherlands next year, October 16. That's World Food Day, October 16, 2016. Now, the announcement was made at the press conference held in conjunction with the COP21 United Nations Conference on Climate Change in Paris. That's happening now. If you're watching the news, you'll see. There's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to climate change and these Monsanto people, because, as I said earlier on, them actually can change the composition of the soil with some of the things that they're promoting to us. For example, some of the pesticide and the herbicides. After you plant for one season, your soil becomes so corrupt and barren when you use these things that you may not get another crop from your land. So these things are these are the things that are coming out and what would cause the groups to come together. And you probably remember, we did a march on it. When was it again? Was it back in October? The march against Monsanto is a worldwide thing, but we participated. Me and Andrea Kishima and some people. Tracy never make it out there. But a whole lot of people, when we were on the road that day, a lot of people were looking at us like, what are they protesting? And I hope that for next time, by that you will all know, because I hear Muta talking about this thing a lot, and it's something that more people need to talk about, the food that we're eating. So the article goes on to say that this is something from one of the persons who is for the lawsuit. It says that the time is long overdue for Global Citizens Tribunal to put Monsanto on trial for crimes against humanity and the environment. That's Ronnie Cummins saying that, and he's the international director of the Organic Consumers Association and Via Organica. He said that we're in Paris this month to address the most serious threat that humans have ever faced in our 100 to 200,000 year evolution: global warming and climate disruption. Why is there so much carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide in the atmosphere, and not enough carbon organic material in the soil or matter in the soil? Corporate agribusiness, industrial forestry, the garbage and sewage industry, and agricultural biotechnology have literally killed the climate stabilizing carbon sink capacity of the Earth's living soil. I think it was well said. This statement basically tells you all that Monsanto has been about. So the picture they created for us is feeding the world hunger being one of our biggest problems. So many people, children dying of hunger, mothers not able to feed their children. So they sell us that part of the argument. And then they link up with all these other multinational companies. Them dep on the supermarket shelf them. When you go in, Friday, tomorrow, or Saturday, just look around. Most of those things, they come from this source that we're talking about. So say, for example, if you're going to look at processed cereal, right? Then you have to check where the cereal come from, the raw material that made it. And most of the times, it is the CMGM, corn, soy, all these other things that are coming from these unnatural sources. And they say it's okay, because coming up in the program, we're going to touch on a story on the GM salmon. We talked about that briefly in the Wake Up Call Friday gone. And we're going to touch on it again because there's more to look on. So I say everybody, every citizen of the world right now who is beginning to understand or who wants to live a better life, because a good life, is having all the things you want, but a better life is to have the health and strength you need to enjoy those things.
Royal African soldiers, me always tell my brethren them say no, I and I is a part of the revolution, but Rastakura nah carry no weapon, so it's a food war me a fight, I'm a must win. It's a food war me a fight, that's why me plant the pumpkin. It's a food war me a fight, but here's the planting. In a food war you don't have no scar, all you have is food, and you win from your begin. Confidence through agriculture, sustain the economy. Blows and skirts, Jamaican food versus USA fast food. I mean, genetically manipulated seeds and animal genes incorporated. You ever hear about that thing named beef potato or beef pork tomato?
I hear that pork tomato. I saw them deal with the thing in the lab, I mix up all animal and vegetable, human and animal. I wonder if I don't know what really are going. This is the sound of Rastakura.
I and I is a part of the revolution, but Rastakura nah carry no weapon, so it's a food war.
Every time I talk about Mansanto, I always say to people, because sometimes when you try to tell people these things, like, them I tell about what them love, the kind of food where them love, and them not see the belly where I grow in front of them. Them not realize how them feel and all these things, and even sometimes how them look. Even, you know what I mean? We have to check ourselves, people. We can't just feed ourselves with food where we think tastes good. The whole point of eating is to sustain our bodies, and we not can sustain our body if we can't sustain the earth. And that's one of the main things where people have to realize with this lawsuit where it say they're putting them on trial for crimes against nature and humanity and ecocide. Very important, because the environment is suffering from things like this. You understand? So the destruction of the soil and the rushing of the cycles, and the time frame in which food should really come to maturity, all of that change, because you can get the chicken them some feed now where in a 6 weeks time them ready. How long it take for a command fall ready, you don't know? About 6 months and then tough like turbid. But guess what? That's the normal thing, so it's better not eat some command fall. Me not lie. You see the big fat leg them, as a Mark Stewart said, you never listen to Mark Stewart preach it. Instead the woman them are coming to church with breast, leg and thigh. I expose. You see the breast, leg and the thigh them. We're not glad to see and them look perfect, no. Them shape nice. Them now make uno shape nice though. Because eating too much of that stuff definitely can't good for you. Things must come from nature. And that's why, really and truly, me glad to see this. But as I said at the start, mainstream media now promote them thing here. I searched the internet last night. It's only a few radical sites had this story. And this is a big story. For people that carry Mansanto go to the court in the Hague, a big something that. So we have to talk about it, and I feel glad about it. Because a lot of the times, I even end up eating this GMO stuff because I don't know. And then even the more I learn and I read labels, I read everything, I'm still finding so much that I cannot continue to keep in my diet. No, it don't have nothing to do, because a lot of people, when you say diet, them are talk about weight. And weight can help it too, So it's not weight. Alright, the phone lines are open, people. You can call us up, Steppn raise until 5:45. Amber in for Mutabaruka. I wonder where I'm there. We need to search the globe and see if we find Muta,
Jamaican food versus USA fast food. I mean, genetically manipulated seeds and animal genes incorporated. You ever hear about about a thing name beef potato or beef pork tomato. Yeah man, them have them things at all. And enough with GM foods. A rasta, be careful of soya beans in the eye. We have to store we own a seeds. Cause for years, ganja stand up, face off with coke. Till him get him brother crack. The other word, ganja no bother. Him just lean back and grab her. So, it's a food war we eat now. And Kura is a survivor. Again, it's a food war we a fight. And we must win. It's a
Rasta Kura said it's a food war in a fight and he must win, and I agree with him. You see, if we not win, we're not sure about the future. We have to win this food war. People not forget wise when it comes to food we not eat. Wiser and wiser each day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Steppn Razor.
Good afternoon, Miss Amber.
Yes. Go ahead. Who's this?
I'm enjoying your lovely program. Sitting for Mutabaruka.
I sound like Charles Morgan.
Oh, Miss Amber, you know me so quick, man.
You can sweet up your voice, eh? What?
You know me too quick, Miss Amber. Anyhow, I enjoy your program right now in Manchester here.
Yes, give thanks.
We all will love your nice vibe.
All right, big up yourself.
Yeah, big up yourself. You're the staff of Irish Thanks.
All right, happy holidays.
After you two, when you come on, happy belated one again for you too.
Yes, thank you. I make sure I tell you no Merry Christmas to become Muta. Now I go tell you no. Late.
Yeah, respect you, man. I want to say welcome home to the wife. Come out of the freeze box in America.
All right, nice,
come nice. Enjoy the time with me and too.
All right, big up yourself.
Big up, thanks, man.
Yes.
Good God of grace, Lord will I have His mercy. I'm Mr. Old Slave Driver. Time is catching up on you.
The hour brought to you by Flow. Flow, marry up your Christmas.
I know you seen them on
3 o'clock.
Here we go home. I bring the brother east. Well, come on, a Rasta man. A Rasta no live on no capital. Oh, you mean? Carry we go home. Oh, yeah, man. If we settle and cease. Well, come on, a Rasta man. A Rasta no live on no capital. I am well. Lord America a capital. And the whole of Jamaica a capital. And a long time them want trick the Rasta man. Like them no know say that man a real African. You think me no member? King Ferdinand. And thief in Columbus have a golden plan. Them make a wrong turn and end up in Caribbean. One hour, then a side pill, nothing Indian. And turn paradise in a plantation. And bring cross one ship load of African. Now here comes the thief in Queen from England. Now she come well and envy mother. Century part of a century full of separation. And after 400 years, me send a reparation. I know them want to kill me with the taxation. But I beg you, please take me to the motherland. I beg you, carry me go home. I bring me brother east. Come on, a Rasta. A Rasta no live on no capital. Could I never carry me go home? Carry me go home. Every second and seas. Come on, a Rasta. A Rasta no live on no capital. Rasta no live on no capital. Watch them panic up at the hill. And looking at them later we properly.
Next inside of the Steppn Razor. I'm gonna say a big up right now to everybody who's at work. If you're working a restaurant that look after good clean food, big up to all vegetarian restaurants. I know some of you having a struggle right now because you have to keep it small, because the masses don't understand about the food thing yet, but just keep it going, all right? Because when I go to the vegetarian restaurants in Ocho, I see more and more people who maybe you wouldn't consider going to vegetarian restaurants, going in there, you know, older folks and younger people as well, hardworking people. You all need the right food, and we really have to check ourselves when we, you know, think about what it is we're eating nowadays, and, you know, make a step forward and make it better. So I soon call out some names. Just big up to everybody right now. I fight the food war.
Everyone is gonna love this. You'll never forget this. The lion life, giving you niceness, and I guarantee you happiness. Hey, everyone
Switch up slot it, John know it get me big. If them ever come on my dam, they have to pack up and leave. But we can stay if you are here and willing to take it. We use the culture, come to react slotness and take the lead. If a slotness get you, try come take you, really make him bleed. No doctor would give him move him up, bring them rage. I would just set for a powder to put him in a fridge. Them slotness DJ and them soft like porridge. Your judge give me understanding, wisdom and knowledge. Put me faith, put me love and give me strong courage. Everyone is gonna love this. You will never forget this. Lion eye, giving you niceness, and I guarantee you happiness. Some say them a cat heart, yes. Some say them a dark heart. But while the lions are here to play their part, you better make sure you have a different road to walk. 'Cause everyone is gonna love this. You will never forget this.
Garnet Silk, and I believe it was yesterday, the 9th of December, that was his last day with us. The Lionheart. Up to our Lionheart locked in right now. You know, some radios buck on some corners right now, you know, in some chill spots and some favorite places.
Don't let them pass on the dirt to remarks. I can't stop them from talk. I'll make them start bar. Yes, me know them corner sound dark. Just like a whole truck, I can't put them to park. Everyone is gonna love this. You will never forget this. Lion eye, giving you niceness, and I guarantee you happiness. Yes, everyone is gonna love this. You will never forget this. Lion eye, giving you niceness.
Here we go, of course, you know, we have much more niceness, and I have some more info I want to share with you, you know, later on the food thing. But for now, good afternoon, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, season greetings to you, Amber.
Same to you, same to you.
Yeah, man, yeah, turn up the afternoon, you do.
Why not? You think we could have turned it down for Muta?
No, man, it's have to turn up.
You know that already?
Yeah, it's here we know. I forgot to call Amber and tell her to shut turn up the afternoon.
All right, love that, love that. All right, we have a whole lot more for share with you, you know. So what do you think about this food thing?
Boy, people have to be careful of what they might eat nowadays. I'm glad for the highlighter area put out there now.
Yeah, man, for real.
Yeah.
All right, because not a lot of people doing it. I tell you, I looked on the internet and this store wasn't on any of the big name sites.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we have to go and search these things for ourselves and share with the people, and you all share with each other too.
Yeah, and me funny when it comes to food, you know, so I'm not really eat anything.
That's good.
I don't know what I eat, I don't know what I eat it.
So what's up for the holidays now? You celebrate Christmas?
Yeah. When you just hear you say you have to tell you, because you know Muta not tell you.
Yes, he would have more say happy Kwanzaa. I'm not telling you nothing at all. It's just a next
day. You don't know. My kids them get big, but me and my grandkids them I look forward for the food every year.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, man, they love grandma cooking.
Well, enjoy your family time.
And you too.
Yes, mama, take care.
I'm going to turn up back my radio now, because I'm going to my kitchen.
All right.
So I cook with Irie. That's my food night.
All right. Yesterday, December 9, that that was the unfortunate day that Garnet Silk passed. Now we're going to play some more Silk later on for all the Garnet Silk music lovers. More coming up in the Steppn Razor. But we find this very interesting, and not only interesting, but I'm also curious about it. So there is a pill that has been approved, right, to prevent HIV infection. To prevent it. You hear that? Now, well, the industry that deals with this kind of thing, is creating a lot of hope with this thing in the global fight against AIDS. And though there are some questions, which I'm sure some of you will be having in your head already, about, like constant access and appropriate use and so on, it's available. And right now it's available to a closed group. I'll tell you about it. So back in July, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the drug known as Truvada, Truvada, and that's the brand name for the medication. And the medicine is emtricitabine or tenofovir, disoproxil, fumarate, a whole heap of words that down. But just type in Truvada when you don't get the time if you're interested in this. Now it's for daily use as a pre-exposure or prep pill in combination with safer sex practices to reduce the risk of HIV infection in adults at high risk. So like I said, a closed group, and that would basically explain the closed group, those at high risk. And that's according to the FDA statement. While the drug is not suitable for everyone, likely candidates include members of the so-called discordant couples in which one person is HIV positive. All right, I have more to tell you, but hold on. Let's take this call.
But me tell them me I go kick off.
Somebody call us, sing caller. You're listening to the Steppn Razor. Yes, so link way forward.
With her boyfriend virgin, him have money and bling, so she...
Alright, so we could get back to business right now. So while the FDA's approval of Truvada as a pre-exposure tool is new, the drug itself is not. In 2004, the agency approved it in combination with other drugs as an antiviral to treat those already infected with HIV. Now, before the drug's latest approval, 2 large clinical trials looked at medication safety and effectiveness in HIV prevention. In one study, Truvada was 42% effective in reducing the risk of HIV infection among HIV-negative men or transgender women who have sex with men who were determined to have high risk of HIV infection. In a study of heterosexual couples, use of Truvada reduced the risk of HIV infection by 75%. So, let me just tell you this and I record it in our brain. The FDA officials said that the 8-year lag between Truvada approval to treat HIV positive people and approval as a prevention tool for those who are negative was due to the need for clinical studies. There's a lot more, but I'll share this with you. The FDA is requiring the medication to carry a boxed warning about prescribing Truvada only to those who are confirmed to be HIV negative before taking the daily pill. The warning also recommends anyone taking Truvada as an HIV preventative to be tested for HIV every 3 months. But one thing about this, a pill to prevent HIV, but it only available to certain people. I kind of wonder about that because I feel like anybody who sexually active is at risk. And I understand the higher risk group and all of that. But you can't tell me one thing still.
She want a man to take her to the movies. Then another set to buy her pearls and rubies. Says she no care about cuts and bruises. That's just the way she chooses. Says she needs a man to bring her autumn, summer, winter, spring cash. Carnival, splash and sling cash. New hairstyle, nails and bling cash. She's doing business, just bring cash. One man can't.
Senior Technical Director at the Health Ministry, Dr. Sonia Copeland, says vector control programs are continuing to prevent the Zika virus from entering Jamaica. Dr. Copeland says the Health Ministry has been carrying out vector control programs, which include education campaigns and fogging. She says in each parish, the vector control program has been seeking out hotspots and attempting to eradicate the adult Aedes aegypti mosquito. The Health Ministry official says people should also remain vigilant on eradicating the breeding sites within their homes. Dr. Copeland states that the ministry has been monitoring the points of entry to the island in a bid to prevent entry of the Zika virus. A team of officers attached to the Hanover police seized one firearm with 4 rounds of ammunition during a joint police military operation in Logwood District, Green Island in the parish yesterday. Reports are that between the hours of 4:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. they were in the area when a premises was searched and one Colt .45 pistol with a magazine containing 4 rounds was found hidden among debris outside a yard. One person was taken into custody. However, that person's identity is being held pending further investigations. And in news overseas, a meeting of Syrian opposition politicians and rebels in Riyadh has produced a statement of principles to guide peace talks with the government. The statement calls for the creation of a pluralistic regime that represents all sectors of the Syrian people. It also stresses that President Bashar al-Assad and his aides can play no part in any transitional period. Earlier, the powerful rebel group Ahrar al-Sham withdrew from the conference. Finally, Mauricio Macri has been sworn in as Argentina's president, vowing to unite the nation and revive the economy. The center-right Mr. Macri took the oath of office in Congress, but his inauguration was boycotted by his predecessor, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, in a row over the venue. In his inaugural speech, Mr. Macri vowed to tackle corruption, poverty, and drug trafficking. He also pledged teamwork and an end to confrontation in politics.
Says she flirt with her boyfriend, virgin him up money and bling, so she go bed with him. Catch disease, now it started spreading. She start to seek penicillin, she's dying. Mercy please, for life she begging. When she hears her to the mark, she heading. Says she broke out at the age of 7, strip dancing before she reached 11. One man can satisfy her.
To the break, you know, we talked about the HIV preventative pill, Truvada. And we have a little description of the pill here. It says that Truvada is a prescription medicine used in 2 different ways to treat HIV-1 infection in adults and teenagers 12 and older. When used for the treatment of HIV-1 infection, Truvada is always used together with other HIV-1 medicines. And 2, to help reduce the risk of getting HIV-1 infection when used together with safer sex practices. So basically, you can take it by itself if you're HIV negative to help prevent or to lessen your chances. You know, I'd like to, one day, when it reaches further down, because this is early stages, to talk to a doctor or a scientist as to, you know, how it works. But over in South Africa, and as you may know, AIDS is definitely something that is too widespread in Africa. And in South Africa, there has also been a pill which is registered to prevent HIV infection. It's a 2-in-1 pill, that's how it's described. It says that in one press release, they have allowed a new, extremely easy to use and powerful weapon to stop HIV negative South Africans from ever contracting the virus. The Medicines Control Council has officially registered the use of a combination pill, 2 antiretroviral drugs as a form of pre-exposure or PrEP medication to be taken once a day that massively reduces the chances of contracting HIV. Now, with South Africa's high HIV burden, the deployment of this new intervention is profound. As of today, this is last Tuesday, any general medical practitioner can prescribe the PrEP for South Africans. South Africans with private medical aid can motivate for PrEP to be covered by their medical plan. The Department of Health can now start developing policies for the scale-up of PrEP in public sector clinics, and the MCC's ruling therefore blows open the door for far greater numbers of South Africans to access this potentially life-saving medication. This story is a bit more, bright for me, or a bit more hopeful, because then, as it says, the access is for more persons, not just the closed group as we heard in the Trial.The case. Trial.The, of course, available in America and probably in this side of the world, on the western side. But, I don't know. Tell me what you think about this AIDS preventative pill. I was hoping they would come up with a cure, but this pill is actually to prevent it. And for now, unless you live in South Africa, it's not open to the public. It's for a certain high-risk group.
I often wonder, yes, I often wonder, what's the difference between the wise and the fool? When the wise live and die, likewise the fool. What can I tell you? Don't you know this is true? A man is just a man. 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 Well, alright. I said the wages of sin is death, but man can live even when the body expel the breath. The gift of God is life. Physically, you're not there. Spiritually, yes, me know you survive. We're here for the same reason, helping to fulfill God's plan. In order to pass the test, we've got to do our best. A man is just a man. 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 Now, remember Moses did a trek to the promised land, and Satan tried to distort that plan. Elijah even tried and them could no overstand, till them go keep on the mount of transfiguration. 310 is every man life length, can go further by reason of strength. But from your praise, you may know you're secure, you shall live forever, evermore. Good God have mercy now. A man is just a man. 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 A man is just Mama Africa, Mama Africa, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Hello, Mama Africa, how are you? I'm feeling fine, and I hope you're fine too. Hello, Mama Africa, how are you? I hope when you hear these words, your grace turn blue, grace turn blue. To let you know how much I care, and I won't let go, even though we're oceans away. You're with me day by day. Memories of you keep flashing through my mind. The very thought of you make my time. Hello, Mama Africa, how are you? I'm feeling fine, and I hope you're fine too. Hello, Mama Africa, how are you? I hope when you hear these words, your
Marley and the Wailers for you right now on the Steppn Razor as we get ready. To share a conversation with our friend Professor Vereen Shepherd on the Zong tragedy. You're wondering what that is? We're gonna let you know for sure. Slave driver era, there's still so much that we don't know. So much lost at sea. So much taken out of history. So you know, we always do our best to find some of those things and bring them to you. And like I said, we're going to be talking to Professor Vereen Shepherd in just a little while. And we're going to talk about the Zong. Now, from November 29 to December 1, 1781, 133 Africans were thrown overboard from an overcrowded Liverpool slave ship named the Zong, sailing from Sao Tome, an island in the Gulf of Guinea. Should the Africans who were insured as cargo die a natural death at sea, the owners could not claim insurance. Yet if the sick ones were thrown overboard to save the others and the ship, then a claim could be made. And the captain, who was Luke Collingwood, and his officers, then over a 3-day period threw 133 sick Africans, including women and children, into the sea. On December 22 in 1781, the Zong arrived in Black River, St. Elizabeth, with 208 slaves on board, and they were eventually sold in the Black River slave market. Now, this is one of those stories that, you know, evoke a lot of thoughts and bring up a whole lot of things in the minds of black people, because no matter how we try to put these things aside, there are certain dates, certain names, certain places that will always remind us, and we should be reminded even more, because I still feel like a lot of black people don't really understand, you know, who we are as black people, where we're coming from, and what we've been through. So on the phone line right now, we have our very good friend, Dr. Vereen Shepherd, Professor of Social History and Chair of the National Commission on Reparations, and she is so much more. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon.
And we thank you so much for taking the time. You know,
yes, man, always.
Yes. This is. I'm sure you heard a little of what I said about the Zong,
yes,
but you also know a lot more. And as I was saying to the listeners, it's one of those stories that evokes something in you as a black person. You know, and when you think about the inhumanity of how we were treated, not only on the Zong, but all across this whole slave driver thing that we had to deal with.
And that is why we are trying to bring public education around this issue, and other atrocities that we uncover from time to time.
Yes.
Because, you know, historians are constantly researching, finding out new information.
Yes.
So as we began to talk to people about the atrocities of enslavement and that period of our history, And as we also see the letters to the editor from people who are so pro-colonial that they would want to forget what happened, we decided that maybe Jamaicans don't know enough about what happened.
That's true.
Because we can't believe that if people understood the tragedies that took place at the hands of those people who should have known better, that they wouldn't support the cause for compensation.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
So this is part of public education, and this time around we are going to St. Elizabeth to take the public education campaign there as a reparation commission, because we have to continue the public education. If people know and they choose not to join the movement, that's one thing. But if they don't know and there's so much ignorance around our history, then we have to do something. You know, so this is what we can do, and this is what we are doing. And not a lot of people know about this case, you know.
That's what I want to say to you, that I mentioned before bringing you into the audience. I mentioned that we're still finding the information. As you said, researchers are continually finding new things because they were hidden from us or taken out of history. And this, for example, is one of them. I'm sure a lot of people are only hearing about the Zong for the first time now.
Yes. Tell us. Yes. We are calling it the Zong massacre because it is a case of mass murder.
Just throwing people overboard.
Yes, because the ship left Ghana around August 1781, right? Now, normally, by the 18th century, the Middle Passage journey is taking like 60 days. This one took 108 days. And on such a long journey, you know, many people would have developed illnesses, became sick, died, and this happened.
But even that is inhumane to have people on sea for so long.
Exactly. And in fact, they were headed for Jamaica, and then they missed Jamaica and went to Dominican Republic and then had to tag back. So it's part of why also these navigational errors would have caused the journey to be much longer.
And there was a lot of those. Not only with the Zong, Columbus and his friends, they never really have no great navigational skills.
But yet, of course, we laud them as skillful people.
No, man, they used to get lost.
Yes. People who get lost and didn't know geography and so on, you know, and came here asking if this is India. And the China people must have said, what kind of idiot this?
Right. And we said them discover the place. Now we still them tell we said them discover the place.
Exactly, you know, and people were here and all that. But to return to the Zong, so we are trying to bring education to the people of Black River, specifically, but also St. Elizabeth in general, and then after that the people of Jamaica. So we're inviting people to go down to the Zong Monument in Black River on the 22nd of December, 11 o'clock, so we can pay tribute and engage in a public rally for reparations.
When was the monument built?
The monument was built in 2007.
Yes.
In 2007, Jamaica was marking the 200th anniversary of the passing of the act, which started to dismantle the transatlantic slave trade.
Okay.
So we thought that, you know, we should not engage in a celebration because the act did not even end the transatlantic trafficking of people anyway, because that continued for some time. And it didn't end slavery because we know that happened in 1838. So what we tried to do in Jamaica was to bring public attention to the atrocities so that people wouldn't, you know, start celebrating as if, well, Britain did this great thing. So one of the cases that we brought to attention was the case of the Zong, because people in the UK had actually built a replica and they were sailing the ship all over the place, you know, and we thought, well, let's tell the truth about this Zong, you know. And so the Institute of Jamaica partnered with the Bicentennial Committee, which I headed at the time, to erect this modest monument. And since then we have been trying to bring attention and ask the people of St. Elizabeth to preserve it, make sure it looks okay, you know, that people go there and pay tribute, leave flowers, leave something in tribute to the 130. It's between 132 and 142, you know. We don't have the exact figure.
Yes.
But we know it's at least 132 people who they threw overboard. And why did they throw them overboard? Because they weren't regarded as people.
Right.
They were treated as cargo.
And insured.
If a ship, in those days, if a ship was in trouble and they jettisoned the cargo, they could claim insurance. If the people died by natural causes and the ship didn't make a profit, then the voyage didn't make a profit, then they couldn't necessarily claim insurance.
And that is the type of thing that, as you were saying, that when Jamaicans really get this in their head, they wouldn't accept someone saying, oh, forget about the past.
Exactly. How can you forget about the past and move on without having some kind of apology for something like this?
No healing is offered, no acceptance on their part. It's like they just want to tell us, be quiet about this thing, and you get a month for yourself. You get February.
Yes.
And that's it.
And I don't think the state should accept that either. I think the leaders or political leaders must pay some attention,
of course,
to these issues. They and we need to call them out too.
But you know what, Professor Shepherd, they don't wanna ruffle the feathers of the colonial slave masters who still exist. I was just listening to the news, I think when it was yesterday, and Jamaica petitioned the British government to give us some money to build schools. So it's these kind of things that people must look into and realize that we are still on this kind of, colonial thing.
But you see, what the government of Jamaica should do is to support the 10-point action plan of the CARICOM Reparation Commission, because that is what we're calling for, infrastructural development.
Yes.
But what they're doing is just going in a bilateral way to get quote-unquote aid.
Right, funds.
Quote-unquote aid. And we're not talking the language of aid and grants. And, we're talking the language of reparatory justice.
Right.
For infrastructural development. So when they go piecemeal, a prison here, a few schools here, and Europe then begins to feel benevolent, we are helping Jamaica. We are saying the government of Jamaica must be strong, stand up to say, you have a moral obligation to settle this account. The account is outstanding.
Can I ask
settle this account?
Can I ask you, Professor Shepherd, have they done this? Can you tell me an example of somewhere where they have done this?
Well, the heads of government had gotten together, to say they must now approach Europe and argue for reparatory justice. So that process is ongoing.
That's for the Caribbean.
That I noticed that the states seem to be sort of... Remember Haiti did that, though. Remember when Haiti did that?
Okay.
And where we see what happened to President Aristide.
Right.
So maybe that's why some of them are hesitant.
Yes.
But my information is that CARICOM is pressing ahead with the claim, and so we are looking out to see what's the next step. But the government of Jamaica has a bipartisan, they have said that they are going to press it. There was a motion in Parliament brought by MP McHenry, and both parties agree that this is something that they should do. But since then we have heard just nothing, just silence.
Just like
so
with
the
a lot of
Reparation
other
Commission
things.
is still continuing to fight the cause.
You must.
And so the Zong massacre is something we should not forget, even though people are gearing up for Christmas celebration. They must remember it's at this time of the year that this tragic incident was happening. It was at this time of the year when Sam Sharp and others were planning to overthrow slavery. We must pause to remember.
Yes.
That is what we are saying.
All right. Can you please just remind the listeners of the date for the happenings in St. Elizabeth and what will happen down there on the day?
All right. So first of all, it's the 22nd of December, starting at 11 by the Zong Monument by the sea there in Black River on the way to Westmoreland. So, and why the 22nd? Because that's the day the ship arrived in Black River in 1781. So that's the anniversary of this ship's arrival.
Yes.
442 left Ghana. 208 arrived. They sold each of them for £36 a head. So we're calling on the UK to also, apologize. 1, for drowning the people. 2, for carrying on the transatlantic slave trade for such a long time. And 3, for continuing to refuse to acknowledge the wrongs of the past.
Yes.
And pay reparatory justice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're calling for people to come out and pay tribute. We'll have libation. We'll have Ras Ivai and the drummers from Clarendon. We'll have artists performing. We'll have a floral tribute. And then people will go by the sea to kind of pay homage to those lost at sea. Because remember, between 132 and 142 were thrown overboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have different people from the audience coming up. We're saying there are at least 132 reasons to apologize and pay reparatory justice. 132 because of the 132 people thrown overboard. So we'll be making statements about, why it is that apology is due and why Britain needs to say sorry. So this is and then we'll have as I said, performances, speeches. The MPs from St. Elizabeth have been asked to be there. Household workers, school children.
Everybody,
Yes.
because, especially with the youths, we need the youths of today to be wiser than the youths of yesterday because, the consciousness that needs to be there is not there.
Absolutely.
And we're hoping that it will get there.
That's right. And so it's part of the process of public education. As I said, it will not be the last event. We are continuing to bring attention and we are going around the island. So you'll recall in October we were in St. Thomas.
Yes.
Right? We have done events in Kingston and St. Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
We have gone to Clarendon. So we are moving and we have done lectures in Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
So we are moving around the island gradually to ensure that we bring attention. Hanover will be next after this because they had a major war in 1824 which we need to bring attention to.
Yes.
So this is what we're doing because we're saying remember the Africans, your ancestors, our ancestors who were drowned because people wanted to claim insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that the reason they drowned the people was that water was short. But when the case came to court, it was realized that rainfall all along the journey, they had enough water.
It's just a heartless act. I mean, the whole thing is just heartless, and it speaks to how some Caucasians, like those who had the heart to do that, think that they are superior than others.
Yes. The ship was initially owned by the Dutch. And it was called the Zorg at that time. It meant care, if you can believe that.
Wow. You mean caring about insurance fraud?
Taken over by some Liverpool investors, right? So it was a Liverpool-owned ship at the time that this whole thing happened. But we also want to remind the listeners about the role of Olaudah, the African anti-slavery activist Olaudah Equiano, because he's the one who heard about it and brought it to the attention of people.
Yes.
Because, and he tried to get another campaigner, Granville Sharp, to sue for murder. But it was thrown out and what the judge said, what is this charge about murder? This is cargo. You can't murder cargo.
Wow.
So this is the disrespect that they had for African people. And if we don't insist,
yes.
then they will continue to treat us like this.
Of course. And it still exists. Want to thank you so much, Professor Vereen Shepherd. Thank you for the time. Yes, man, and thank you for what you're doing as well. And as you said, we'll definitely link up again when you're ready for Hanover and all over Jamaica. This is the kind of education that we need for persons to understand. Yeah, man. Have a good afternoon. Professor Vereen Shepherd, Professor of Social History and Chair of the National Commission on Reparations, and she's, trust me, a lot more. Also representing the Reparations Commission, CARICOM.
Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up. Tell nothing till you're high.
Voice, I like his vibe. That's the son of Loyal Flames with Break Free. You're listening to the Steppn Razor right here on Irie FM. Thank you all for joining. I'm in for Muta.
living like this. Slaving in our mind, taking program like a chip, and it's not right. When you can't make a choice, how can it be for me and you decide? Oh no, I wanna take control, live my life and play my role. Oh no, don't try hold me down. At a fire burning now, said I wanna referee.
I told you earlier on that we're gonna touch on the food thing again, because one of the things that we saw recently happen is the approval of genetically modified salmon for the first time. So they've been modifying the seeds and, disrupting the soil and the rain pattern and all these things with these, Jamaican people call them lab food and lab seeds. But genetically modified or genetically engineered, those are the terms used for these. So we see where the salmon now has been approved for genetical modification by the FDA. The FDA, that name, that institution, doing a whole lot in this thing, in this food game, this food war, this playing with people's lives. Because that's what I see it as, them really playing with our lives, because they are approving so many things, which later on, you're finding out all the different dangers that are attached to these things. I don't feel like the FDA is really doing its job of making sure, because that's what they're there for originally, or that's what we are told, is for them to make sure that whatever is being put on the market, foods and drugs, are safe. That's how they should get approved, right? Well, all right, let's talk a little about the salmon. Now, on November 2, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, approved the first genetically modified food animal, an Atlantic salmon that grows twice as fast as natural salmon. Now, that's one of the main things you all need to pay attention to with genetically modified things. They grow much faster than the norm. Now, some farmers might think that's a good idea because you want to get more things quicker. But is it really? Anyway, so how this happens is the insertion of genes from the Chinook salmon and eel pout. That's an eel-like fish. I'm going to spell them for you. Chinook, Chinook, salmon. That's a type of salmon. And then the eel pout, EELPOUT, which is an eel-like fish. So they combine the genes of both. Now, as a result, they carry 3 copies of each chromosome instead of 2. And that's not the only change. Their sex hormones will also undergo complicated manipulation to ensure that they're all female. But I feel like them scientists have too much time on their hands. Them need some family and some woman. Somebody can't carry them go one party. Somebody, Neil, you can't invite one of them scientists here. Write to them, email them. Invite one of them on one part. Them need to come out of the lab little. All these things, like playing games with people's lives. Like seriously, making all of the salmon female, is that normal? Can that be natural? I don't think so. In addition to that, the FDA will not require any additional labeling identifying the genetically adherent nature of the salmon. And that's the norm with these GM things. They are definitely trying to stay away from labeling them. Why do you think them wouldn't want to label it? Why? Why do you think that they would want to stay away from labeling all these GM foods? So whether it's the cereal, whether it's the vegetables, the soybeans, the whatever, they don't want to label them. It's just recently some brands, which probably because they realize they're losing business, they actually have a special line which is non-GM. So their main line of food still comes from the GM raw material. And then now they have a certain line which they will put on the box because, they want to attract the customer who wants organic and go hope some not buy them and it's fake. Because I look for those non-GM labels. No, it's not a laughing matter, people. It's a serious thing. A few products on the shelves now have non-GM, and I've been warned that could just be labeling. It might not be true. So, can you imagine? We now going out to buy food to eat, looking for good, clean food, and we see a label that says, all right, it's non-GM, so we try to stay away from the GM. And then we find out that, well, it was just labeling. Rough times we go through still, people. Anyway, so there are some voices raising up, including our own, against the GE salmon. Now, reviewing some of the scientific rebuttal to prior anti-GM free speech, scientists are not looking at the data, the statistics, and asking good questions. It's a few people doing it. As me say, I feel like the scientists have too much time on their hands and playing God too often. Whatever you consider God to be, that's what they're playing. They're putting themselves in the place. That's how I see it. Because if you're going to think, all right, well, it takes 6 months for tomatoes to come, but I can get it in 2 weeks. I can make it grow in 2 weeks. Then that man I try to say they're more powerful than nature, more powerful than God. Well, to describe the new GE salmon, it's described as a triploid. And triploid often means an organism that has 3 full sets of chromosomes instead of the normal 2 sets, which is termed diploid. Humans are diploid, with 46 total chromosomes, having 2 complementary sets of 23 chromosomes each. Triploid for humans would mean 69 chromosomes total, and that's a genetic disaster. Polyploid, this trait of multiplied sets of chromosomes, is rarely found in animals, although there are a few known species of beetles in which it occurs. The most widespread rule for animals is that multiples over the normal numbers of chromosomes lead to serious problems. In humans, to make another comparison, even a single excess chromosome or a portion thereof can cause anomalies like trisomy 21, which is the term used for 3 copies of chromosome 21 and is the genetic cause of Down syndrome. So basically you get the idea. Anything which is not the normal, in humans it's 46 chromosomes, which is 2 complementary sets of 23 chromosomes each. Anything outside of that is going to cause some sort of problem. Not cause it to be better. It's not like if you have an extra chromosome, you become a genius. Or, you have some sort of superpower, your blood rush faster or slower, anything like that. It's going to be a problem. So this GE salmon is, getting the attention of a lot of people, especially with the description of it and how the FDA has gone ahead and approved it without, you can assume that basically no research. So we have on our phone line to talk to us a little about this, Carlton Stewart, who is former president of the Consumer Inc. and also a consumer advocate. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Amber. Good afternoon to you and to your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I don't know if you listen to me from time to time, but when it comes to food, and if you say GE or GM, I'm interested. I always want to know more. The first time I found out about genetically engineered foods was probably less than 2 years ago, and I was alarmed at what I found out. And since then, we've seen a lot more, and now we're looking at this new approval from the FDA for the GM salmon, which, by the way, they say requires no labeling. Now, as a food advocate, consumer advocate, how you feel about that?
Well, we have been struggling.
Consumer advocate, how you feel about that?
Well, we have been struggling with it from 1998. We have been struggling with it because by law, right, one of the rights of a consumer is to know what you're eating.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, they are going against what is really the law legally. You're supposed to know what you're eating.
But there are
so we've been struggling with it with on our government, at our level, right? National Consumers League, at that level, we've been struggling with the government. We're still in the struggle. It's a continuous struggle, although you might not see it up front, but it is happening, because right now we're with the Department of the Public Defender. We're trying to to get the public defender to act on our behalf of consumers
Right,
to get labeling.
Yes, because as you said, the first right of the consumer is to know what you're consuming.
Yeah.
And if you don't put it for me to see, how am I going to know?
Yeah, exactly.
That already is taking away the customers. For me, it's like dipping into my pocket and taking out my money for something that I don't want.
But let me tell you what it is. Really and truly, it is getting us involved in an experiment.
Yes,
without our approval.
Without our
That's what it's doing.
approval. That's so important, for the listeners to understand that when we buy these foods that we don't know the source which they're coming from, we are involved in a mass experiment.
Right. And so these people out there, they're looking at us to see, what is happening with us, and they have no liabilities. That's why they don't want a label to, because if you label, and I can say, well, okay, I ate XYZ, I drink some whatever, some soya products, and I got sick, and I know it's soya, GM soya, right? If I know that, then there are protocols that you can claim, right, redress. So, they don't want that. The producers don't want that. So the best thing they can do is not to label at all.
And these are some... Yes, go ahead.
Because they know that if you put GM on the package, people are going to say, boy, I'm not going to bother with that yet.
And they would lose millions because you're talking about multinational food corporations which link with Mansanto and other providers of this raw material to make these foods. I was saying to the listeners earlier, Carlton, if you go in the supermarket right now, just stand up like at the entrance or near where the cashier is and look at all the shelves and look at what you see. A lot of what you see, you don't know the source.
Yeah, and most of it is GM. A lot of it is GM.
Of course, majority of it.
What we have been encouraging listeners to do, and people to do, and consumers to do, is to, instead of going to the supermarket, go to the market, right? Try and buy ground provisions, things where, we always eat from a long time, with breadfruit, with yam, with banana. Try and buy those things and concentrate on those things. If you like in your backyard, grow your little chicken, grow your callaloo, grow your lettuce, grow your tomato, to go back to that level, that stage, because that is the only way you're going to be safe. Yeah. Because most of the products that you go in the supermarket, they are genetically modified. Their ingredients,
right, the raw material.
Right, raw material. And
one of the things also that comes to mind when you just spoke about the farmers and people in general to grow what we eat. One of the things that come to mind for me is also for the farmers to be mindful of where they're getting their seeds.
Right.
Because you don't want to take these same GM seeds that the multinational corporations use and come and plant for us to eat.
Yeah, and not only the seeds, the chemicals, because like glyphosate is probably the most cancerous product ever known to man, and that is one of the herbicides we use in agriculture. So that is not only the seeds too, but glyphosate, the herbicides. Atrazine is one of the herbicides that change sex, change people from girl to boy and boy to girl.
I wonder if they will listen. Can you say that again for me, please? What is the name of the herbicide? I need the farmers and the daughters and sons of the farmers who are not so computer friendly to go get the information, give daddy, show mommy, teach them.
So I have. Let me tell you, and if anybody listen to me has a pen and paper, because I produce a video, and the video that I produce is on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can listen to this video. And the name of the video is Genetically Modified Foods, the Need for Regulations, number 2. That's 2. So it's Genetically Modified Foods, the Need for Regulation 2. And if you put that into YouTube, my video will come up, and you will see from the start to the finish, even with the protests, what we're doing, everything that we're doing. We work in the background, but we're working to try to get the powers that be to move expeditiously and
because
quickly.
because you know what, Carlton, one of the things I realized, in doing my own research is that I think there's over 60 countries that have banned GM, so you can't farm it there, you can't use the pesticides, the herbicides, and you can't use the seeds, and they don't import the byproducts from these GM seeds either. Now, if 60 countries in this world can recognize the seriousness of these things, Jamaica needs to get with it right now.
Yeah, because Russia and most of Europe, Russia recently has now brought in a law, has just Putin has just signed a law that anybody found trying to sell genetically modified within their country has a heavy fine to pay and prison term too. So, what I am saying, and we have been saying, and we've been trying to promote and to encourage our government to act on, is not only just the labeling of GMO, but we need even a bio-safety policy, because it's much wider than that also.
Yes.
Understand me? Because the people, they can come into our country, they can see a herb, which is excellent and good for cancer, good for whatever. They can take it, they can carry it abroad, they can develop it, and then they can sell it back to us.
And then patent it and sell it back to us.
Back to us. You understand me?
We have no protection when it comes to those things, and you're so right. The government really needs to forge ahead with this and realize that it's a serious matter. It's the food that our children are consuming sometimes, especially with the children. I don't know about you, Carlton, but when I look at the food that target children, it's even worse than that for the adults.
And then you see, all right, you know that I tell you something, I tell you. This might seem strange to some people, but food is everything, Food is the reason why our people are behaving the way they are behaving.
Yes.
Food is the way why our children is behaving the way they are behaving. And somehow, the elders, the people who are responsible for making decisions, it's as if they are not able to see that, right? It's as if they are not able to see that, and it's painful when you see what is happening in our society, and even the anxiety. Right, because when your brain not getting serotonin and it's not getting dopamine and not getting the minerals, when your brain not getting the proper minerals, you get anxious. You get, you easily to set off. You easily get vexed. You easily want to act, and get really bitter.
That sounds simple, but I want the people to realize it's true. You know what? I have done a little research for myself, you see, Carlton, and I realized that a lot of these foods which are packaged and sold to us, when you check the nutritional value on the label at the back where it says, the daily value, I am alarmed at the amount of them that have less than 10% or 10% of what you need for the day.
All right.
There's little to none when it comes to nutritional value in a lot of these foods. So, when you say go back to the things we usually eat, go market instead of, we not burn out the supermarket them totally, but a lot of the foods on the shelf, these imported foods, them not do nothing for we.
Nothing at all. And the thing is, we have good land, we have good weather throughout the year. I mean, sometimes we start a little rain, but we have water, basically. And, I don't know why we're not exploiting that, because agriculture is a big employer of labor. And it's also we can export our products because our food is just tasting better than the rest of foods.
And more close to natural too, because a lot of Jamaican producers right now are suffering. Their business is not growing because the government keeps importing these things from the large corporations, and our little companies suffering out here.
Exactly, because look at what they're feeding our children. The genetically modified soya beans, some drinks and some of them feeding our children.
And the juices which have like 36 grams of sugar.
It's the worst thing, we have things like planting, we can do picking planting juice, we can plant the own corn and the cornmeal porridge. We can use all of things, even animal feeds, because the thing is, the crop is genetically engineered. The animal eats the genetically engineered crop. It changes the animal. We eat the animal and we eat the crop, and it changes us. But we're not understanding that.
Yes, but we should. It has changed. As you say, from the soil to the animal to the products to going into your body. humans and the food chain are not the same.
Yeah, exactly. And you notice what you were saying. You remember I heard you talking about the salmon. Where you know what that salmon has been registered as a drug. It has been registered as a food, as food, It has been registered at the FDA as a drug. And a drug that changes people and animal. That's what it is registered as.
I don't have a lot of words for this FDA approval, but wicked is one of them. Because
but you see, it's we wicked, with due respect, it's we in Jamaica wicked, to one another, because that is what we must do. I mean, it's because we have a responsibility to protect our people.
And
we have a responsibility to our people to protect them and to provide a clear situation where they are protected from these things and other things that come into our country and that can harm us.
No, so they actually promote it. It's actually promoted instead of, shielding people from it. These things are promoted and advertised, and I mean, a lot of the times I really feel bad, Carlton, for persons who maybe they don't have access to the information, or they are just eating what they can afford. And a lot of what they can afford is the least nutritional foods, they are the cheapest.
But you're scared, but you see, I take that point, but at the same time, if you look carefully, because, all right, if you live in a backyard, you can plant some Carlo. What's to stop you from planting some Carlo? You can plant a breadfruit tree, okay, it'll take a little time, but within a couple of years, you get breadfruit too.
Yes.
Your neighbor, you have breadfruit, you can get neighbor, you have banana. You can plant a banana tree, it takes about 9 months to a year. Banana, you have banana, you keep your banana all the time.
As you mentioned, 9 months to a year, Carlton. One of the things, I don't mean to cut you off, but one of the things, you see, about the salmon is that it grows twice as fast as the normal salmon.
Yeah.
No, I don't
so
think this can't good in any way.
What's going to happen to you? Because, all right, as I said to you earlier when I started, that we are part of an experiment that without our knowledge and without our agreement. Because now, you see, genes operate like how you say an orchestra.
Right.
You see, like how you have an orchestra playing, not even a reggae band, but an orchestra.
Everything
Everybody
in harmony.
play them own thing, but at the same time, they are in step with all the rest of things, right? That's how genes go. Every gene, they have its own particular characteristics and duty what that it does. But at the same time, it is in step with the other genes within the genome. Right now, sometimes when a new gene come there, the other genes, don't respond properly as how we expect them to respond to that new gene. You understand me? So it might get rebellious and decide to play a different tune and put it that way
of
to use
course.
the analogy. Right? And that is how you get sickness. That's how you get death. Right? Because a new thing has been introduced which is not in conformity with the system that is within the orchestra. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand? But we know, but these people know, they don't give it enough time, So whatever you hear them telling you, is lie. They're not telling the truth.
Because they haven't tested it on anyone. It's we them testing it on.
We haven't tested it because we know for argument's sake. Dr. Seralini, he did, right, a research on rats, right? And he did a 2-year study on rats. And where he fed them genetically modified corn. And I tell you, and glyphosate also. And I can tell you, the amount of tumor, the death.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Rats died 6 times more than the rats that didn't eat that. Right? They had tumors, large tumors.
I think I've seen that. I've seen it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But guess what? They had done studies too, like Mansanto and these people. They had done studies, but they cut off their studies after 90 days. But when Seralini did his study, he found that it's just when after the 90 days that these things start to reveal.
Yes, because I think he did up to 2 years with some of the rats.
Yes, he did 2 years. right? And it's when he found that it's after the 90 days study time period, these tumors and, you know, cancer started to develop.
Yeah.
So you see, that is one of the problems we face. And they can't believe what they say. What they say is because because look at this company now. It spent $60 million, you know, to develop this product, you know. Aqua Bounty. It spent $60 million to develop this product. So you know it requires payback. Under pressure to start to show some kind of payback for the amount of resources it invests. Right? And that's the name of the game. Now, FDA is a client company, you know, it works on behalf of these people as clients. So you know what happened there.
Right, and they have their little sub companies, you know.
So that is where we are, and we as a people now, we have to pressure our government, right, to say, give us the protection, give us a biosafety policy. We need a biosafety policy now. That is what we must talk, you know. If the election now come up, that is what we must tell. We should be telling our representatives, you know.
Biotechnology.
So what is your situation on the biosafety policy?
Biotechnology, biosafety, and all of that are words that need to be coming up. But let me just share a little of this with you, Carlton. This is from Erin Brockovich, and you may remember her from in the 90s. There was a movie made about her concerning the, you know, the asbestos cancer and you know, her whole thing. So this is one of the things that she's advocating for as well, which is for GM foods to be labeled. And in a recent statement, she said that the fish, like all genetically engineered ingredients in this country, will not be labeled, leaving American consumers in the dark. Like many food and environmental safety activists around the world, I am outraged. She said that the biotech industry and the FDA have hijacked not only our basic rights as consumers, but also our fundamental human rights in the face of corporate monopolization of our food supply.
Exactly. And she's right. That's exactly what I'm saying. She's exactly right. We need strong, positive government. And you see, we have a lot of these things are being worked on, you know. So I'm not going to say that our government is not working on them. I know that they are working on them. I know as a fact. What I want us to do as consumers is to push them, to say, get it going, get it, we want it off just the you know, from the technocrats, we want to move just from the technocrats to policy, right? And so we can start to implement these things. Because if you don't have it, you know, if you don't have these things, then we are all suffering, and we are all going to suffer. And not only us, you know, our children.
We're suffer already. I do a street survey every time I go out on the road, Carlton, just with my eyes, right? And I look at people, and I can tell sometimes what it is that persons are eating, and I feel like the GM foods, which of course, you know, includes the hormone thing that the chickens are going through. It's very hard to find a regular chicken in Jamaica right now unless you go and go up in some country area and get some common fowl, as we call it, because most persons who rear chicken or grow chicken, they're using the 6 week the hormone.
And then when these hormones don't get into our children, though, is there any wonder that our children are over-sexualized? Is there any wonder that little baby like 10 and so 8 year old, they're having milk coming out of their breast? Doctors saying that, you know, they reach puberty fast.
Yes, it's a tragic thing. So
it's a tragic thing.
Yes, as I was saying, when I go out and I look at people, I can tell the ones who, for example, you know, they're from a big bone family, or what would I call in a Jamaican, or trapped in, right? Different from people who are overloading their bodies with all these different types of foods. You can literally see that the fat isn't depositing anywhere; it's just hanging around.
Exactly. And we need to, you know, it's time. It's time. A long time we've been working on this, you know. Now we're with, as I say, we're with everybody. With Carl, right, to do everything, you know, to get people to move on these things. And it seems like, you know, I don't know, but I'm not giving up.
All right, so you said that you know that the government is working on some things. Can you just even give the public an example? Because I know that this conversation is sending off light bulbs in a lot of regular people's heads, you know, to say, hey, I need to take stock of what I'm eating.
Yeah. Well, but I know, for example, the Cartagena Protocol was signed, I think it was 2012, right? That has been signed. I know that there is a draft of the biosafety policy, which includes all the treatment of genetically modified foods and enough other things like, you know, informed consent to use or biodiversity. I know that all of these things are in draft form, right? Especially the biosafety protocol policy, which is the most important thing right now.
All right.
So that is, I know it is in a draft form, right? Yes. And it's just to be.
We need to push them forward. Well, I hope them are listening. Them better put this on the election agenda.
Yeah, and we must ensure that they do it, because they say the funny thing, you know, none of the two sides are talking about that.
Exactly. Yes, you're so right. I said it earlier, you know, Carlton, that. All right, the first story we brought up, which is kind of, you know, in tandem with this story earlier, was about the Mansanto lawsuit coming up for World Food Day next year. And one of the things I said is that when I saw the story and then I went to kind of scout the internet to find more, it was only some little sites that's trying to educate us that have it. None of the main sites had that information.
Okay, I just say about sites. My website has all of this information. It's consumercareonline.info. So it's consumercareonline, one word, .info. And if you put that in, you will see my website. You can just go on it and you look through the whole of it. You will see GMO and the whole treatment.
Well, we give thanks for that, you know, because it's a word that I want people to start to pay attention to, or not a word, it's a phrase. Genetically modified foods or genetically engineered foods. People will really have to do better. Carlton, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. All right? And keep up the good work. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Working so hard, I know job will provide.
That was Carlton Stewart, former president of Consumer Inc. and consumer advocate. And you can check out the website, consumercareonline.info.
Highest grades we blaze. It's me again.
The new artist for you right now on the rise. His name is Real Image. Fan of the Steppn Razor. Big up to everybody locked in right now and loving the program. Of course, you can call us up. Tell us what you think about what we've been discussing. You know, and these are things that people should be thinking about every day and making the adjustments as we go along, because it's not easy, you know, but trust me, all you can do is try.
Ray Charles can see too. Don't need a microscope to show God love unique. There is nothing in this world like God love. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Remind me of a baby and a mother love. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's a something when me life can't do without. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Father gave his only begotten son. Shalom, shalom, can't do it. When bad times run near and good times scarce, now resist your love. Father,
the bus and taxi drivers right now who, you know, when them touch the road from in the morning, it's Irish straight until night, until them park up in them driveway. You know, use them rag and wipe off them sweat and say, yeah, the day is done, time to get some rest. I look forward to a new day to all the bus and taxi drivers who stay on Irie.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Remind me of a baby and a mother love.
Earlier on, you know, I said I would big up some of the people who are really fighting the food war and trying to provide good food for people who have to be out there, out and about, and really don't have the time to cook, you know? So, like Ashanti Oasis in Kingston, Cafe Africa, also in Kingston, Me Hungry, also in Kingston. Here in Ochi, big up 8 Ball and Calabash and Reflections. And speaking of Reflections, you know, me have to call some names because you got some people in the kitchen who, they don't just want to hear Reflections. Them are big Irie fans and them want to hear them names. So we're going to call them name. Alright, so big up to Tuggy. And big up Charles, Garth, Michael, Natisha, and Shante, Jati, and the whole crew right now inside of Reflections. Don't let me leave out nobody. But you have certain restaurants where, you know, they provide vegetarian meals and some alternative foods where you're not find everywhere. You understand? And speaking of which, just want to say a big thank you to Power. You hear what him name Power, and him give me some juice today. We really have power in it, me not lie. Him give me some pumpkin seed and avocado and raisin and molasses. Yeah. Strong something. And Power is in White River. Big up to all the Ultra Massive locked in right now. Archie, I hope you're listening now.
I'm protected by the Almighty. My soul must be free, yeah. Them can't stop fighting from me. What I wanna be. Only want someone that there's no one of me. Shall we protect the people? Protect your life always. Your love surround me. The pagan can't surround me. You know I got them off it on me. Love surround me. The pagan can around me. Love surround me. You know I got them off it on me, yeah. Them a try tell lies on me. No, them don't got no ties on me. Cause I'm protected by the Almighty. My soul must be free, yeah. Them can't stop fighting from me. What I wanna be. Only want someone that there's no one of me. Say love the Almighty. Your love surround me. The pagan can't go around me. Love surround me. You know I got them off it on me. Love surround me. The pagan can't go around me. Love surround me. Just like how the sea surround the earth and mountains surround Jerusalem, and so is the last around his children, and glorious saints are spoken when he called, but I am chosen. Your love surround me. The pagan can't go around me. Love surround me.
the Steppn Razor. Son of Dennis Brown.
Fighting against the pressure. Ooh, yeah. Battering down the pressure. Oh yeah. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen. Yeah, yeah. This is not a you I say. Iowa FM is roots rock reggae. Hear this? And all them other little stations, they what me say? A straight reggae. Hear that?
The phone lines are open to take us up to music news coming up at 4:30.
Battering down the pressure. Oh yeah. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Gotta fight the right fight in this time, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution?
The government also, and the teacher.
Morning.
Them are poor people suffering. What about the from night to the morning? Teacher sing.
Then let me tell you this. Politics of Jamaica and the rich man. Light bulb money can in a mansion. System a cap down poor people plan.
You know she say them lock up the cash plus man.
A poor taxi man a fi find 50 grand. The license the car cost a leg and a hand.
Them a go like a three people big money pan. Them raise up the toll and me still see a toll.
They know land for the next question. What take national water commission?
Them want raise up water rate by a grand. Them idiot in a shower with the use bad man.
Cigarette raise and ganja still ban. Police go away and burn the wrong land.
No good news, no bus from where they just want. Judge Bush and Bruce Gold in a bun.
Do you know what it means to have a revolution? Yeah. And what it takes to make a solution? Yeah. Fighting against oppression, battling down depression. See ya.
You take long fi come but the money done fast. $4 a week, one day that a last. The book rent a school but me can't pay the cost. And me vex how me can't send him go no summer class.
No bank account,
that dry up like grass.
Me no go bank again, me just look and walk past.
And walk fast, helping no bigger pass.
Fear suffer more than Jesus on the cross.
Do you know what it means to have a revolution? And what it takes to make a solution? Fighting against oppression. Fighting against. See ya. Battling down depression. No.
Politics of Jamaica are the rich man. Light bulb money call in a mansion. System of pop down poor people plan. You know she say them lock up the cash plus man. A poor taxi man if he find 50 grand. He license the car cause a leg and a hand. Them a go like a three people big money pan. Them raise up the toll and me still see my toll. They know land in the next question. What take national water commission. They want raise up water rate by a grand. Them people in a shower with the use smart man. Cigarette race and ganja still ban. Police go away some bun the wrong land. No good news, no bus from where they just want. George Bush and Bruce Gold in a bun.
Do you know what it means to have a revolution? Yeah. And what it takes to make a solution. Fighting against oppression. Battling down depression. See ya.
Like an arrow, I wonder if I will see tomorrow. If in this world of conflict and sorrow, on this lake oldest gunmen strike more.
I know you're not surprised. I know, no, not surprised. That was Mr. Universe.
I ask them see. I know they still have some evil purpose in mind.
Hey, we got music news coming up.
I'm not sure if I will live to see tomorrow. Living in this world of conflict and sorrows, but this lake oldest gunmen strike bold and do. Everybody on the highway. Like mountains round about Jerusalem. So we say Selassie high. Around higher and higher than I. Like mountains round about Jerusalem. So we say Selassie high. Around higher and higher. Wingers and DJs, if fuck with it, call them mockers. Come like you come here, fi crush Babylon crackers. Babylon cool, you let a fire like fritters. Roll on, no it, like say, under the hikers. On the free up the knowledge to the youth and you producers. Worse, littering is all your litters. Flattering lips, this a come you like bitters. All TV personnel and all radio announcers.
Jamaican artist Omi has received another international milestone with his pop single Cheerleader, which was certified double platinum in the United Kingdom. The Clarendon-born singer, who is 29 years old, took to social media site Twitter to make the announcement and posted a picture of him holding the double platinum plaque. The tweet says, "Double platinum in the UK. Thank you for making this possible. #cheerleader, #Omi Army," the post said. In the UK, double platinum means that Cheerleader has sold over 1 million units in the country. The BPI, which gives the certification in the UK, also takes digital streams into consideration. Cheerleader was first released in 2012. A remix was released in 2014 and has gained global success in 2015. Cheerleader reached #1 in 20 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, France, and Germany. The song was also named among Spotify's top 5 global tracks for 2015 and was also nominated for Song of the Year by the BBC Music Awards. The award for this category will be presented later this evening in Birmingham, England. The funeral service for female Singh J. Capri will be held on Monday, December 14 at 10 a.m. at the Huey Chapel, Mona, St. Andrew. Music News understands that the artists who have been confirmed to perform at the funeral service includes Elaine, Christopher Martin, and Shireen Anderson. There will also be a celebration of her life at the event this Saturday at Little Cooper, featuring selectors such as DJ Smurf, ZJ Liquid, and Boom Boom. Rising dancehall artist Jamil is also slated to perform at this event. Jay Capri, who was 23 years old, given name Jordan Phillips, was hospitalized on November 23rd after her vehicle overturned. Reports said a car she was driving slammed into a wall in Barbican Square at about 3 a.m. She was rushed to the hospital following the collision. She is suspected to have died not directly from injuries to her brain, but from bacterial infection, sepsis. The sepsis triggered massive kidney failure, medical personnel theorized. Jay Capri is known for songs such as Wine and Koch with Charlie Blacks, Pull Up to My Bumper with Conscience, and more recently Boom and Ben Over. On the international scene, Meek Mill spent some time in prison over the past few years, and now there's a chance he could be going back. According to TMZ, the Philadelphia rapper could have his probation revoked after taking a trip without permission. Apparently, court doc says that as of November 1st, 2015, Meek is required to obtain a travel voucher before leaving his hometown, which he presumably did not do when traveling to the AMAs in Los Angeles in late November. He's currently serving the probationary sentence due to a drug and gun conviction from 2009. Meek Mill's latest mistake could have him heading back to prison, and it wouldn't be the first time he faced jail for violating probation. Last year, he was put behind bars for several months for just that. This Day in Music 1983, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson started a 6-week run at number 1 on the US singles chart with Say Say Say. It was Jackson's 10th number 1 and McCartney's 29th. On This Day in Music 1998, Bruce Springsteen won a £2 million court battle to ban an album of his early songs. The case revolved around a dispute over copyright ownership between Bruce and a former manager. On This Day in Music, the year was 2000. Eminem went to number 1 on the UK singles chart with Stan, the rapper's second number 1. This Day in Music 2008, DMX was back behind bars in Miami after he was arrested for allegedly missing a court appearance in Arizona.
So that was music news, and we go back to some more music right here in the Steppn Razor. Very interesting topic coming up, you know. Don't wanna miss out, and big up to everybody sending the messages on Facebook and Twitter right now and sharing in our sentiments about this food chain, this food war, this thing that we have to be going through.
Come like you come here fi crush Babylon crackers. Babylon cool, you let her fry you like quitters. Well, who know it like say who the hackers, who the feel up the knowledge for the youth and youth producers. Worse, littering is and your litters. Flattering lips, this a come you like bitters. All TV personnel and all radio announcers. Hey journalists, just get this in your clippers. Not this Bobo youth where you fling every power. Blessing just a show us his last year. The government on him shoulder like mountains round about Jerusalem. So is the Parasarasi, seated with high and high. Hey, like mountains round about Jerusalem. So is the Para Emmanuel, round high and high. Hey, like them no see say are the full men done full. Yo, tan come to the power. Rise like you could have big like bull. Oh, Babylon a try fool.
Pick up to Lobster Dave and the crew right now inside Fisherman's Beach. You know, Fisherman's Beach, I got 12 vibes as well. Boy, believe me, I tell you, poor people all around right now, going through the worst time. Not only in Jamaica, but all over the world, because, you know, a lot of the times we look around and we see the situation bad, and then we look out and we see whole heap more worse things are going. Like, you know, one of the things I look out on and give thanks that I don't live in a war zone, because war zone is not like one time where you know say, all right, World War I go on, right? And it's in that area. War zone right now is a lot of places. And sometimes if you check the places and why the war there, you realize that this war thing is not just a random thing. You understand? It's a thing we plan.
So long, the words from your mouth been going out to the nation. With no doubt. Who step forward to lead black man's nation? And a joke, yo, just know you're right.
So many other plans against humanity, you know? A whole heap of things where we just take for granted and we just take light. If we really move some of the curtains and look, we see some more things, you know? Them things that we must use up the internet for and use up the brain power for. Very important. One big up some people, big up to Clive from Bull Bay and Bob Marley Beach, the Bob Marley Beach crew, Sipple. Clive say, happy Christmas when it come. Alright, and him don't forget nobody out there, so him place that same way, alright? Big up to wife Pauletta and daughter Isla and Pusey and the Malvern, Nyabingi Tabernacle and all the tabernacles across Jamaica. That one coming from Earthquake. Season's greetings to everybody right now inside of Mansfield Flat, Donovan, known as also Anthony Edwards, Jerome, Buckfield crew, Falkland crew, big ups, and big up Mafia too. Big up to Sai right now and the Westland Mountain crew, West End, big up our West End Massive in Negril, Beach Road Massive as well.
Sweep over my soul. Sweep over my soul. Those are billows roll and tempest blow. Jaja will sweep over my soul.
18 minutes away from the Supreme Ventures live draw, we have another call. Good afternoon, welcome to the Steppn Razor.
Blessed Amber.
Yes, blessed to you too, caller.
Yeah, I love the topic you're touching today, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to give you the real name for this Mansanto. It's Man Satan, baby.
Man Satan. Boy, this worse than Satan, yeah, man. Satan
just I tell you, they're not only a poison people with food, you know, but you see enough of the disease them where you see are developing in the world today.
They are pattern for them.
And them lab inventions against nature. You see, once you're not living with nature,
yeah,
you're not living a life. So it's just another war that. It's not just like guns and ammunition.
For real, man.
It's another drugs war and chemical war against the Africans. You see me?
Because you heard what the gentleman from the you heard what the consumer advocate said earlier, that the salmon, because you heard us talk about the genetically engineered salmon, right? That the FDA approved. That salmon is not registered as food, it's registered as drug.
Let me not tell my sister, man, it's not just like arms war, you know, them fighting against nature, you know, them fight drug war and them use it in a food where, you know, necessities, food is necessity.
Yeah.
But everyone needs food to survive. And when one can poison your food publicly like that, check the levels.
And on such a big scale, you know, it's a very big scale, this Man Satan thing are going on, you know.
My sister, I'm telling you, it's a big warfare. It's a war against nature. So it's like them fighting against the Almighty.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I have a lot of credit and thanks for your time. It's since my from Linstead. Big up Ibamara and the whole Linstead, Bagwalk and the whole zone, right?
All right, big up yourself.
And big up Ira FM and the whole Jamaica in tune too.
All right, respect.
One love, my sister.
Yes, thank you. I hope the nation realize something now, because, you know, I have to commend the Rasta community for being the first ones before we even hear about GM and GE and all these things, who say we need to eat a certain way. And, you know, a lot of people sometimes frowns on the things that the Rasta promote, you know, with him levity and how him see things. And one of the things is the food thing. So I just want to big up to the Rasta them for that, the original Rasta them who understand, say, whether it is you're a vegetarian or you mix your foods, as long as you're not eating healthy foods and you don't have a balanced diet, you have a big problem. And if you're eating all these manufactured things, that's another big problem.
Every morning I will sing, every evening I will lift my voice, keep my voice in praise. Oh Lord.
No, for real. real, man. We have to take stock of ourselves, and you know, sometimes the money not too up there still, cause when you think about eating healthy, a lot of people scared, cause them have said expensive. But think about which is more expensive. You eating all these things all along and rushing yourself into some sickness that you maybe would have never did have if you try to eat right. Or just stretching your dollar, go to the market as the brethren say, instead of going somewhere else and getting some things where people produce and give you, and try to eat more natural. That's definitely where you want to be heading right now if you want good health and secure your health. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to the Steppn Razor. Hello, caller. Yeah, turn on your radio for me, please. Turn on the radio. Alright, yeah, man. Welcome. What's going on?
Yeah, bless.
I feel like you still have the radio up though. I'm hearing back everything that we said.
Yeah, you still hear it now?
Alright, much better. What's going on?
Oh, you know, sir, I want to talk on the Muta program.
Yeah, man, you're on the program right now.
Okay, I'm on the program now. Yeah, I want to make the item know about a thing when name Codex Alimentarius.
Yes.
Agenda 21, you know?
Tell us about it.
Yeah. I think where is a food war where the World Food Organization and the World Health Organization and planet them say them want to eliminate 90% of the world population through food. You know, see it? Yeah, so them think they really are going. So I just see the ones them for look up Codex Alimentarius. Look up Agenda 21, you know?
Oh, you know, I hear about it before. I've seen it in my research. Codex, tell me the name again.
Codex Alimentarius.
Alimentarius. And it's Agenda 21.
Yeah.
Whole heap of agenda come before the 21. There are enough plans them have for we now.
Aye.
Whole heap of plans so, we find them out.
As Rastakura says, a food war them a fight. It's a serious thing a go on, you know, so them a slow pies you know, see?
Yes, man, real thing.
Yeah, and feed we cut down I frequency them, so we start to look out ourselves, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, man, so give thanks, program like Muta program where the eye upon was a positive data.
Yeah.
Where the people them overstand what really happen around them, because a whole heap of people is like them hypnotized, you know.
Of course.
Them on a mass hypnotism, you know.
Of course.
And I move through is like most people as zombie people feel a way for hear them word about that. So it's set because them already program the way how people for look upon life, you know, see it.
And
yeah,
for
so
the people who
give thanks to them program, and I block up a son from around a mobile still. I harass niggas, you know, from the Roothouse family still.
Alright.
Yeah, and we have a little program around us every Thursday. Roothouse up on Art Street and Barracks Road. They just want the Rasta family them for come in and the youth them. Because we are edify the people them.
Yeah, you know,
through righteousness, through documentary.
Yes, and I was just saying that the Rastas, they deserve, you know, the representation and deserve the compliments and everything for really be the ones who step out and say, eat a certain way from the start. Rasta said that, you know.
Yes, so, from a long time, and I burn the fire and I say, we not eat nothing with the eye mouth, you know.
Give thanks.
And I go and preserve life from them time. So the one them for know, so them must have to till up the soil and plant some food and them thing there. Because that's how it reach, you know. Because only what we plant go safe, and we still have to know where we are get. We see them from things that we are plant same way.
Alright.
So we have to cherish the native seed like them long time tree that we didn't know from we are youth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, them thing that we have to eat from long time food, because them new food are really harmful to the system.
For real, for real.
Rastafari, and we give thanks to the medium still, you know.
Yeah, man,
bless
thank you too.
Mutabaruka anyway.
Oh, you mean? Anyway, I'm stand up right now, step in.
Rastafari.
Give me Ethiopia, yo, happy black star.
Codex Alimentarius. That's what the man said. Agenda 21. Check it out. People are keep telling you, use the tools that you have to get the information you need, because a lot of things flying over our heads and people going through, as him say, you know, in a hypnotized state, which is also deliberate.
Son, wanna look what I go happen for repatriation. Wanna free up every prisoner, a revolution. Sizzle a CI, authority higher than Area shot. Well, then I say these were the words of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie I and I hear the royal emperor of Ethiopia and Monica. Well read, Babylon all is so from near and far. Don't even go ask them what them peeping for. Tell them can't hold the youth with no more rose and jar. You Ethiopia or this a war. Babylon all is so from near and far. Don't even go ask them what them searching for. Tell them can't worry the youth with no more rose and car. Give me Ethiopia, yo, a fee black star. Babylon a listen a device new plan. Dangerous sitting we there so too long. Blackness reason so I rise black man, black woman teeth a glisten. Ethiopian them think the fire did missing come with on Babylon. Dedicated to Britain and United Nations. But look what I go happen for repatriation. On free up every prisoner a revolution. Sizzle a CI authority higher than your police and your soldiers stop your molestation. Babylon and you from so far. Don't see every rock them what them listening for. Tell them can't hold the youth with no more us and car. Give me Ethiopia, cause that a people of soul. Babylon a listen from us so far. Don't even go ask them what them searching for. Tell them can't hold the youth with no more us and car. You Ethiopia, the motherland people of star. Rain over Eden, flood out we not dump. Eden and she then done get John Paul Sam the brigadier. Go here we come and same time him cramp. The Major General done full up and up our camp. We bringing out the authority so we no ramp. It's higher than voltage, what is an the whole of them take cross council against making. A beer fire sizzler, a lunch bring you see. Babylon and listen from us so far. Don't even go ask them what them peeping for. Tell them can't hold the youth with no sun cure. You Ethiopia, the motherland people black star. Babylon and listen from us so far. Them and them associate a fight. Here's Psycho War. Tell them can't hold the youth with no more.
Highly, Amber.
Hello.
Highly, big up yourself, Amber.
Thank you so
man, you're strong, you know, more power, Amber.
This sound like Jatabi.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, man, you know, see it.
So what going on?
Yeah, man, I love how the Rasta man talk.
Hello?
The violence, you know, the food, you know.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, man, you know, see it. Violence, you know, the food, Amber. You know, see it. So right now, we're production where we plant it right for everybody. Because right now, them food that them are bring you, them food are poison, you know. That's why the youth them now learn. You know, see it. Them brain narrow, it make them brain narrow and shallow and bring vile. So when you eat the right thing, you know, you get the right meditation.
As we did say,
right
still in Jatabi, you see most of the foods now, it now give them no nutrition.
No nutrition,
it's just belly full, and belly full is not the purpose of eating food.
Yeah, you know. You know, see.
When your nutrition up, you know, like you can maintain your activities. Because what happens is that when you give your body less, then stress start to develop. If you're not getting enough of this, enough of that, then you know you start stress your brain or your limbs or whatever, and you know it's just a bad situation we find ourselves in right now with this food thing. So like Jatabi gone, but for real though, it's a serious thing.
Forever the same, His only your love will remain. Forever the same, never the fortune nor the fame. Forever the same, oh we will call upon His name. Forever the same, say Babylon can't hold the flame. I hear the questions bickering, tensions thickening. Friends of agendas, attention, they listening. Miss a mention, no intention of giving in. Flame ya no flickering, blaze till you sick of him. Back with the army, raising a nation. Never for the praise of a place from your station. See them displays, it's so fake, run away man. Health over wealth, I just praise them, me stay strong. And coulda tired, but the banner happy fly. Now try switchy grammar for you run no guy. Right over might, if he goes so me we fight. With me brother like a spanner, fires which is spice. Mama Ellie said you told me to shine. Don't let these foes take control of my mind. Whenever they come for I won't deny Jah, this and me reply. Forever the
most I set the part. And now you got to make the walk and stand taller than a shepherd's stalk. Through any trial and tribulation, in any situation, Rasta see me stay strong. To me say, pyramid them ask if it's a mason. Them a said the Rasta thing no need no innovation. But we a seek the knowledge and the information. For free the people, them were in frustration. So I tell you, many are called, but the chosen few know they obey the unspoken rules. So I go and chant a couple potent tunes, left probably rung up in a smoke and fumes.
Forever the same, His only your love will remain. Forever the same, never the fortune nor the fame. Forever the same, oh we will call upon His name. Forever the same, say Babylon can't hold the flame.
Protege featuring Kabaka. And a listener on the text line, and the listener says, Amber, I love you so much. Jano, you're so close to nature. Thanks for educating us, the people, on this wicked Babylon spell. More life coming from Fuzzy. We got to Steve and the Sandy River football team. Them say hashtag Iris. Thanks for listening.
His only your love will remain. Forever the same, never the fortune nor the fame. Forever the same, oh we will call upon His name. Forever the same, say Babylon can't hold the flame. I hear the questions bickering, tension thickening. Friends of agendas, attention they listening. Miss a mention, no intention of giving in. Flame ya no flickering, blaze still you sick of him. Back with the army, raising a nation. Never for the praise of a place from your station. See them displays, it's so fake, run away man. Health over wealth, I just praise them, me stay strong. And coulda tired, but even a happy fly. Now try switchy grammar, be you run no guy. Right over might, if he goes so me we fight. Give me brother like a spanner, pan a fire, which is spice. Mama Ellie said you told me to shine. Don't let these foes take control of my mind. Whenever they come for I won't deny Jah, this I'm a reply. Forever the same.
Only a few minutes away from, few seconds away from 5 o'clock rather. Listen up your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Cash pot drive time draws are up next.
Forever the same, oh we will call upon His name. Forever the same, say Babylon can't hold the flame.
I call upon the King, like goosebumps crawl upon my skin. When the verse ya fall upon rhythm, I remember when my rust upon my father want me trim. Eventually I did, but now I'm not it all again. Just the most I set the part. And now you got to make the walk and stand taller than a shepherd's stalk. Through any trial and tribulation, in any situation, Rasta see me stay strong. To me say, pyramid them ask if it's a mason. Them a said the Rasta king no need no innovation. But we a seek the knowledge and the information. For free the people, them were in frustration. So I tell you, many are called, but the chosen few know fi up.
This is Janine representing for DJ Amber. Rastafari, love your sister. Teach your people the truth. Creation provided the marijuana
Speaking of the marijuana, we're going to be talking to our very good friend in just a moment.
Janine representing for DJ Amber.
Lily Claire Bellamy, as we talk about the government looking to copyright Jamaican ganja. Yes, you heard right, copyright Jamaican ganja.
For the heights to be guided by the marijuana. So it's up to I and I to free the marijuana. If I wanting DJ Amber lead the way with Rastafari save the day, cause him supply them with the marijuana while the government tell life on the marijuana. So it's up to I and I to free the marijuana. DJ Amber lead the way with the liberty she maintain. For years they persecute I send police to hunt and kill, raid and burn up with farming, and send the youths them go to jail. No hypocrisy presenting itself as good business practice. When the former colonizers want to meet with DJ Amber to work out logistics, when creation provided the marijuana for the heights to be guided by the marijuana, and the nation relying on the marijuana.
So as I said earlier on in the program, you know, Muta could be anywhere, you know, and it's either me that go find him or him that go find me. So Muta, wagwan.
Well, they, you know, they just come out for one long ship business for 5 days, but making stops in Uchi and Falmouth and Florida, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wonderful experience, man. I mean, it's like Rebel Salute on the water, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
For that ship, like 5 days of pure music, pure reggae. You turn on TV in your room, a pure reggae. You're walking in the passage, them it's pure reggae. They show them go until man, pure reggae. You can't go dance all. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, Metro Media, Stone Love. I mean, you name it, man. It is wonderful, man. Wonderful. Thousands of people on the ship. There's about nearly 3,000 people all on the ship.
Nice.
And it was sold out, man. It was wonderful. I mean, I'm glad I went. And
yes.
Next year I'm going again. And I hope I see you on it too.
What? All right.
We are laughing.
No, because me think you book me for shift right now.
Me a book you. My know me a book you know. No man, but it was wonderful. But I hear you talk about the GMO thing there. And
yes.
It's really somewhere where, I mean, Jamaican people, we see through them catering a little thing where it's a right now thing, grab we have a time to really deal with information and these things will affect with daily, but because it's not presented to us in a way where it's like it affect with, we appear not to want to deal with it. You know, even though everybody eat food every day, but people don't eat. You know, it's like a belly full business.
That's
it's like
what I was saying.
Yeah, it's like your mouth becomes the doorway to your death. You know, the gunman we out the road and wait for you, and then you in your kitchen and kill yourself.
A real thing.
You know, I don't know which one worse. You know, I don't know which one worse at all. But it's very important that the people them go forward to the land, though. You know, land is the power. If you don't have no land, you don't have no power. We need to deal with that. As we usually say, the youth them not get out with them land no land. Get some rubber tire and full it up of dirt and plant in there. You'll be surprised to know. You have man have ganja field with pure rubber tire in it, that pure ganja in my plant.
As you talk about ganja field, Muta, we have this coming up, right? I have an interview coming up, but like I have you online now. You know the government is preparing to copyright Jamaican ganja. And a lot of people associate copyright with things like, you know, poetry, music and them thing there. But I'll just share with you what the article is about, right? And this came out on the 3rd. It says that Jamaica is preparing to register ganja as a geographic indication with a GI, according to the Investment Minister Anthony Hilton. The move comes amid launching the island's first GI for jerk. GI gives the highest level of international legal protection of products from counterfeit and duplication. Already, Jamaica has signed a bilateral agreement with the Swiss government for the registration of medicinal marijuana. You didn't know this?
Yeah, what I'm do is like you have certain strain. Alright, say a man can plant a certain strain of ganja, and his intellectual property. So him though is like him registered as female, so nobody can claim that strain. You know, I mean, Mansanto do it too. Mansanto have certain
with
seed
them
where
seeds, yeah.
if them find a strain of that seed in your garden,
and you realize that you are eating a fight. Them can sue your feet. So it's a similar thing where you license the strain of herbs with there, so it's unique to Jamaica, and then now you don't really, it's intellectual property, you know, you can't do it, you know, it can be done, and it's necessary to be done, because a little more you go and find a whole heap of people that duplicate copy, just like how them copy Jamaican coffee, and copy reggae music,
yes,
you know, they copy a whole heap of things, you know, the Muta 12.10.15 the boat there a while ago, it's unbelievable. And most of them white.
Boy, Muta, we couldn't copyright the locks at all, but I mean, I think this is a good move because, as you say, it protects the Jamaican, you know, the strain of ganja.
Yeah, you know, like a man no copy it and say a few months, you know, you can't sue him and get millions of fines, you know, but it's a good look for that, you know, it's a good look for that. But you know, apparently it never stopped. Man, for carry ganja on the boat, they don't ship. That tell you, even though they have jail out on the ship, but trust me, man, reggae music, I don't know people. And again, once again, we are saying, it's amazing that such a powerful thing came. And the Jamaican, even the tourist boat is not involved with it nowhere. You know, you like the sign, man. Jamaica tourism, nothing like that. Let's say it's a different country. Like the people them who come from a different country, bring them flag and stick it up right round for this sugar key. This is some name of some country we never even see on the map yet.
Yes.
We don't know which part them people they come from.
Yeah, I heard about that, about the many different nationalities that are.
Yeah, man, it's amazing, man. It's amazing to see people coming from all over the world just to come center themselves for reggae music on a boat we have moved for 5 days. You know, it's amazing. Yesterday we traveled from a left Ocho, we don't see no more land until this morning.
Wow.
When we land in Miami, you know, so and then but it's reggae music, stage show. Last night you have Maxi Priest, you have Marvin Heritage, you have Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, you have Porto J, you know, it's like I mean, you have a dance all night. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Trust me.
Sound like me now go available for in a studio next year, Muta.
Eh?
You make it sound like me now go available for in studio next year. Me and you up on the boat next year, you know.
Well, Cabo go do the program. Come, me not left it. Cabo go do the program. Me not left it. It's one trip. You know, this year they have 2 trips. It's one trip them have a bigger boat. Maybe the boat will like 5,000.
Okay.
So them now with 2 trips again. So you better find yourself on it.
Not true. And then now Cabo we take care of me and your shift. Yes.
Yeah, Cabo have to do it.
Alright,
alright. Yeah, you say you have interview. So go on to the interview.
Big up yourself. And me know more that find you before the show end. And make sure you bring back something nice to me for the reggae boat.
Like what? Me can bring some seawater. You want that?
No, me no want seawater.
You will
find something nice for me.
You need some salt though. You need some watch though.
No, me don't need that. Me need you to get me one nice souvenir off of the boat. That's what me need you to bring.
No, me come off of the boat already though.
Oh, you're off.
You think of the boat for them? Yes. No, me come off of the boat, man.
You think you talk to me on the boat? So where are you?
No. Where me there? At Jamaica, me there.
Jamaica.
I fly from Miami, come along and so. Me just landing at the airport.
Okay, all right.
People see me and all at the Muta. You're supposed to be by the radio, you know. I tell them to know about my little dark. I never competent enough to deal with it.
All right, give thanks. So big up yourself. Enough love every time. I would glad to know you reach back safe.
All
right, bless up.
This your point of we culture so nice.
Picking up right there with Muta. One and only.
Them dirty cops that made Mario die. Hey,
you heard me share a part of the article. I mean, this is a good look because we have things like, for example, the cocoa, the pimento, the ginger, castor oil, Jamaican roots, wine, honey, and of course the ganja. And these things are basically up for grabs. We really need to protect our authentic Jamaican things, you know? I feel like if we not already lose the black, green and gold and the red, green and gold to just about every producer in China and from other places, which by right, you know, if we get this thing started out, you know, as Muta saying, we can get whole heap of money off it, and I feel like we need to start sue some people to use our thing because it's our thing. You understand?
DJ Amber, high school I change color from white till it amber. Yes, indeed, and I realize so this is deep joy. You don't know the thing stay. Smoking all night.
Joining us on the phone line in just a little while, we have Lily Claire Bellamy, who will tell us more about the copywriting of the Jamaican ganja.
I'm got the country from the left hand side. So when you see the red in our eyes, no confusion starts in our mind. So and this your point of we culture so nice. When we puff in front of police, them same dirty cops that made Mario die. Hey, Amber, you puff it till the morning, or in a sunny afternoon. Hey, we just roll up with blunt and listen to our favorite tune. Me plant it in my garden. Oh, on a sunny afternoon. Marijuana, I tell you, it's our favorite food. Amber feeling irate. We're feeling irate. Feeling irate, yeah. We got the wings to fly with. Some smoke it for the style, and some smoke to fit profile. But I smoke the chalice to lift my meditation sky high. Say some smoke to fit profile, some smoke it for the style. But I'm by your smoke to keep your meditation sky high. And then you puff it in the morning.
I have a few questions about this copywriting of the Jamaican ganja, the intellectual property rights, and that provides protection for the Jamaican ganja. So we have on our phone line Lily Claire Bellamy. Good afternoon and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you are the executive director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, so I'm sure you will be able to answer just about anything I throw at you, right?
Well, I will try my best.
All right. Now, for the persons listening, what exactly is meant by intellectual property rights, especially when it comes to a plant like ganja?
Okay, intellectual property rights covers a wide range of stuff. It covers any creation of the mind, and intellectual property is divided into two areas. Mm-hmm. You mentioned one of the areas earlier, which is copyright and related rights. Yes. And copyright and related rights would cover any form of music, any literary work, any artistic work. So, for example, the photographer who takes a picture, that's an example of intellectual property rights, right? Mm. The photographer would own the copyright in that photo. So that is the area that is covered by copyright. Yeah. Related rights would deal with the broadcasting and performances. Okay. When we're looking at ganja, we're talking about a plant and or a variety of a plant. Yeah. So you can have different types of protection for plants and varieties of plants. In some jurisdictions, you are able to protect by patent the plant, whereas in other jurisdictions, you can protect by patent, or you can also protect under the protection of new plant varieties. And in Jamaica, I'm not sure if you're aware, but just recently we launched Jamaica Drug, which is our first registered geographical indication. And you might say to me now, what is a geographical indication? Well, perhaps one of the most famous geographical indications in terms of alcohol would be champagne. And champagne comes from a particular region in France, which is called Champagne. So any grapes that are grown in the region Champagne, the product from those grapes, the sparkling white wine is called champagne. Okay. Anybody else can produce a sparkling white wine, but they wouldn't be able to call it champagne because it's not from that region. Right. In Jamaica, what we are looking at, and we designated this long time ago, actually even before the decriminalization of ganja, because some of your listeners may know that a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago, we had some Jamaican researchers who were doing research on the ganja plant and came up with 2 pharmaceutical products which are actually protected. That was Canasol and Asmosol. Canasol for treatment of diseases of the eye and Asmosol for diseases of the chest, particularly for asthma. Yes. So we have a tradition in Jamaica of the production of pharmaceutical products from ganja. So now, with the decriminalization and with the licenses that have been granted for work to be done in the area of ganja, and your listeners may be aware that there is a cannabis licensing authority. The cannabis licensing authority facilitates persons who, they are responsible for the granting of licenses for persons who then would be able to plant ganja for the specific purposes. We, in Jamaica, we have designated the medicinal products from ganja as geographical indications.
Okay.
So when you have that designation, then anybody who buys a medicinal product from ganja and see the name Jamaica, they say, okay, they know they're getting a good quality ganja. Mm-hmm. So we, the government of Jamaica, under the IPA-CARI Forum, we were to designate a list of potential geographical indications out of Jamaica, and ganja was one of those that was just designated. And we also have a bilateral agreement with the government of Switzerland where ganja again has been designated as a GI for the production of medicinal products from ganja.
All right, so it's different patterns then that people will have to get for their different strains and different products and so on.
Different protection, different types of protection.
Right.
So you can get plant variety protection, or a group of producers can decide to come in and make an application for geographical indication protection.
Yes.
But I would encourage anyone who is listening and who wants to get more information to get in touch with us so that we can give you all the nuts and bolts so that you do the right thing and that you protect it before, because it's very important to ensure that you have the protection in place before you share your knowledge.
Yes, and what about like the small farmer who, let's say for example, right, has a friend from overseas and give them some seeds, and then afterwards they turn around and how do you call it, patent or protect their
okay, well, what's going to happen is, well, you see, and this is the whole thing. In our industry in Jamaica, and this is a bit outside of intellectual property, but I will share my limited knowledge with you. Mm-hmm. What we are seeking to do in Jamaica is to have a track and trace methodology put in place. So every seed that originates in Jamaica, we will know. So if somebody plants, if somebody uses seeds from Jamaica and there's a product that comes from it, we'll be able to track and trace to say that was originally, authentically a Jamaican variety of the ganja. So that's how we're going to do it. But we would encourage our small farmers not to share their seeds with anybody.
Mm-hmm. And also for them to get the protection as well for the different strains.
Yeah, they do. They need to, which is why I'm saying I'm encouraging persons to get in touch with our office so we can direct them to the right channel.
Give them the information for me, because it's very important, especially for the small farmers and those doing it for many, many years now.
That's true. Okay, they can telephone us at 946-1300 or 946-0789. Or they can go on our website, which is www.jipo.gov.jm.
Okay.
Or they can send an email to info at jipo.gov.jm.
All right. And what about the person who just wants to come to the office? Because some people
They can come in. We're located on the corner of Trafalgar and Braemar. So we're at 18 Trafalgar Road, which is on the ground floor of the Jampro building in New Kingston. And we're open to the public from 9 in the morning until 3:30 from Mondays to Thursdays, and from 9 to 3 on Fridays. But if you send us an email, we will respond to you, or if you call. But you can also come in and speak to any of our officers.
And as we said earlier on, this is a preparation that the government is now making. It's not all, ready for the public. But I would say to them as well, come in, get the information or call or email. Get yourselves ready for this move.
Yes, it is important. And actually, the Cannabis Licensing Authority is also on that same building. So it's the information that they need is not related to intellectual property. The Cannabis Licensing Authority is also on that building, so they could get that information there. So coming to 18 Trafalgar Road is a good place to come to get the information that you need about the ganja.
Wonderful.
So we'd encourage persons to come in, and we will give you the information or direct you to where you could get the information from.
And then, as you said, they can get licensed if they're not licensed already, right?
They need to contact the licensing authority. That's outside of my remit. I can speak to the intellectual property, but I would.
That it's right there, for them to do it if they have.
Yeah, they need to come in, and because what is important is for people to get as much information so that they can make informed choices and decisions.
Yes.
Because you don't want to be doing something and then after you've done it, you learn that, you didn't have the authority to do it, and now you're caught between a rock and a hard place. So it's better you get all of the information before proceeding to act.
Yes.
That would be my encouragement to anyone who is listening.
All right, sounds good. And, even for the small farmers, when you hear things like copyright and patent and so on, people kind of get probably a little bit
That's
anxious.
why I said, let them come in. Let them come in and talk to us. Because it's important to come in so you know exactly what you need to do.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
You're most welcome. It was my pleasure.
Yes, indeed. All right. That was Lily Claire Bellamy, Executive Director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office. And one of the numbers to call, 946-1300. Check it out. Get the right information from now. Hear the headline and get scared and I say, you see it though? A long time we know say government want to take away the thing, but no, this is definitely for, persons who have interest in the industry. If you produce anything from ganja or you have your own strain, then as you heard Miss Bellamy say, you come and get the right information so you can get yourself protected in the right way. All right, well, it's almost time for me to get out of here. I want to say a big thank you to DJ Neil in studio with me, just mostly having fun with me today. And then Tracy and Morris, my production assistant. We're here talking about a lot of things off air. I'll be back in studio tomorrow, people. I've got the Wake Up Call Friday for you tomorrow, 6 to 10 a.m. Catch you then. With Black Thunder and the World Crisis. Thank you all for listening. It's been my pleasure sharing in the program on behalf of Mutabaruka. News and sports coming up next. You all stay irie. My name is Amber. Good evening.
This world is faced with problems every day and every night. So much trouble, so much problem all over the world. Take a look in the mirror, tell me what you see.
Jamaica continues to perform ahead of targets set by the International Monetary Fund.
St. Anne police charged 2 brothers with arson following a house fire in Limehall, St. Anne last month, where 4 family members went missing.
Top traffic cop says police will implement strict measures to target motorists who drink alcohol and drive during festive season.
Works agency assessing cost of damage caused by recent heavy rains in sections of Portland.
And Clarendon pastor sentenced to 20 years for 2012 rape of 15-year-old girl.